Larry, if we were judging this game from just the first quarter, I was preparing for a brutal night, a depressing conversation, and then Lindy Waters showed up. And then Jonathan Kuminga had a breakout game. Your buddy Hield, splash buddy in the fourth quarter, lighting it up. Good times in Warriors land. Larry Krueger, I'm Cyrus Saatsaz. Together, we're giving you the best Warriors program on the planet. Let's get into it. It's the Krueg Show. It's Golden Days. We got to come up with a name, but let's get into it.
That is it for us today, and we will leave you with I can't do it. No. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. And things suck. Woo! Let's go.
In a minute, I'ma need a sentimental man or woman to pump me up. Come on and break me off. 'Cause I get what I want and I like what I see.
Oh, dude, Lindy Waters. Hey, your first. Who's Moody having tonight? Larry Krueger in the house. Oh, the Krueg Show and Golden Days merges every Tuesday. Love doing this. As always, Larry, you've got sponsors, brother. The floor is yours. Give them the love they deserve.
Well, of course, the Krueg Show always brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera, and we will be there, by the way, in Corte Madera on Sunday for the 49er bye-week watch party, drink-a-thon, barbecue-a-thon. I'll be there. Kev will be there. Lots of people will be there. It's at Pig and a Pickle in Corte Madera from noon to 6. We're going to drink beers. We're going to eat barbecue. We're going to watch football. We're probably going to boast, maybe tell a few lies. It's going to be an incredible Sunday. So join us in Corte Madera. Get a chance to meet Damon, not Bruce.
Oh, okay.
By the way, Damon Bruce is having his own meet and greet on the same day as my meet and greet, but he's at the Dubliner in the city. I just messaged to everybody, don't go to Damon Bruce's meet and greet. Come over to my meet and greet. My meet and greet must beat Damon's meet and greet. All right, there you go.
It's a healthy
So we're going dual meet and greets, and yes, it's a you-know-what measuring contest. And I will win. I will prevail because we're in Corte Madera, and we've got real barbecue, and we got real beer, and we've got me and Kev. You want to hang out with me and Kev? Or you want to hang out with Damon? Come on.
And I'm always going to give the edge to the person with more kids. You have 4 kids, so I think you're the hands down winner, sir.
I'm more prolific. I am more potent. My show has greater potency.
You have a stronger life force.
That's right. I have created an infield in my life.
Oh man, are you picking the pickle? Anyone else? Are you done? Are you good?
Oh no, well, of course, Pig and a Pickle is the title sponsor of the Krueg Show, and thanks to Damon and Mary. Check us out in Corte Madera. But also we are brought to you by Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles. They're in Pacific Grove, California. My good friend Anthony Catania, 205 Cypress Avenue. For all your sports cards and collectible needs, call Anthony at 831-521-5264. And while we're at it, we're also brought to you by Mancini Sleep World. Mancini Sleep World, a proud sponsor of the Krueg Show now. They offer a 120-night guarantee with a range of brands and price points. I love my Mancini's bed. I'm sleeping really, really well. And with Mancini's, you get free next-day delivery. So click the link below, go to sleepworld.com, find a bed that works for you. And then whether you're shopping online or visiting in-store, all you got to do is use the code KRUEG10. Krueg10, and you'll get 10% off. That's KRUEG 10, and you'll get 10% off in store or online at sleepworld.com. So thanks to Mancini's for being one of our newest sponsors of the Krueg Show.
And I love my rest. I consider it to be vitally important. And so that's a very important sponsor. I love it. Mancini's. And don't forget, folks, they're not booing. They're Kruegin. And then what's the number for the discount?
Once again, I'm glad you asked. Krueg 10 at checkout at any Mancini Sleep World or sleepworld.com, and you'll get 10% off. So you go into a Mancini's and you said, you know what, I want a sweet bed, and you get a $4,000 bed just because you're listening tonight and you type in Krueg 10, you're saving $4 bills. And again, thanks to the Krueg show. So tell a friend. You want to save 10% at Mancini's. Tell them type in Krueg 10 and tell them that Larry Krueger sent you.
Beautiful. And they're not booing 10, Krueg 10, Krueg 10 to get that discount. I got to give some love real fast to BetOnline, the official sponsor of Golden Days. And right now, basketball is in full steam. So fans, it's that time of year again. The NBA's back. From opening tip-off to buzzer beaters, BetOnline has you covered with the best odds, biggest promotions, and live in-game betting on all your favorite team. And this season, every game matters. Just ask the Golden State Warriors. BetOnline has every stat, matchup breakdown, and live odds to bet on during the game. And it's not just the NBA. BetOnline has odds on everything from football to Major League Baseball. The World Series is not over yet. NHL, the election is next week, which is crazy. You could bet on that. Head to the website today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. BetOnline, the game starts here. And for the Warriors, the game stops here tonight at Chase Center. Larry, they were down by 20 points, I believe, early second quarter. I was ready for doom and gloom. I was ready for just a very sad and somber show. And then Lindy Waters comes into the game and turns around a really just pathetic offensive performance. The Warriors scored just 14 points in the opening quarter. They then score 33 in the second quarter to cut what was a 20-point Pelicans lead down, where I think the Warriors were trailing by just 4 at the half. And then the third quarter, they scored 40 points, blew this whole thing open. I'm sorry for my dog going crazy. Reaction to a wild game, a game I don't think many people expected the Warriors to win. It was incredible, sir.
It was an incredible game. It's the Warriors can really shoot the basketball. And tonight they came out and really shot the basketball from three. 46% for the game for the Warriors from three. Now, New Orleans shot 41%. But it's interesting, it's like the Warriors used to be a donut team that got beat in the middle, and to some degree they still are.
Yeah.
They were minus 10 on the glass, and they were minus 6 on points in the paint. But when you look at how well they're shooting the basketball, 47% from three, 85% from the line. They only missed 2 free throws all night. The Pelicans missed 7. And so then, if you do that, and then the other key thing is 34 assists for Golden State and only 8 turnovers. They rely on ball movement and body movement, and now they've got tremendous shooting. And if you can move the ball and not turn it over, 34-8 assist to turnover ratio. Look at the Pelicans. They had 23 assists and 24 turnovers. So also Golden State got out on the break. No Steph. You got to get out and get some easy buckets. They did that. They were 22-6 on the break. So, good win for Golden State. I heard Kerr interviewed the other day, and I'm watching all the games, but I'm not in the top tier. I will never be asking a question at a press conference. I've got a long way to go before I get there. But
it's a time thing for you, man. More than anything, right?
I'm joking. I feel like I could be tier 1 if I really try to force my way.
Yeah,
I feel like I have that kind of relationship with Ray Ritter where I could get to tier 1 if I really wanted to force it. But I don't really want to force it. Anyway, but my point is this, just that I heard Kerr interviewed, and he's like, Lindy Waters is a really good player, and he's not going to play. And I'm sitting there going, okay, I don't know everything about basketball, but I know enough about that guy shooting it that why the hell wouldn't you play a guy who shoots the ball as well as that guy does?
Mm-hmm.
He really shoots the ball. He could even get hotter than he was tonight. I mean, 21, you're going to see this guy go for 20 off the bench more than on one occasion this year. He's going to do this again. He was plus 26 on the night, best on the team. And, to me, this is a guy that should be in your rotation. This guy's got a usable, discernible, great NBA skill, and that is he is an unbelievable shooter from range. And I thought he was going to be a stiff, but when I saw him in the preseason, I saw, man, no, this guy's fluid and athletic. He's not a stiff. I thought he was going to be one of these 3-point guys that can't move side to side. He's an athlete.
Yes.
So play him. And now you've got Buddy Hield. I mean, I said it. I don't want to be the know-it-all guy, but here's the thing. A lot of you people think of me as a 49er guy because I cover the 49ers the most, and I devote the most of my channel to the 49ers because there's, I'm into football. I used to scout that, this and that. But I feel like I'm a pretty knowledgeable Warrior guy. I mean, I've been following the Warriors since 1975, and that's a long, long time. And I'll tell you, I told you. I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. Buddy Hield is going to be a whole shit ton better in Golden State than any of those Sacramento fans care to admit. All my Kings fans that are watching and listening, you're wrong about Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield was a bad shot selection guy in the fourth quarter on some questionable Kings teams, and he took a lot of bad shots. On this team, he's got the green light most of the time when he's on the floor. They play smart brand of basketball, a lot of body movement, a lot of ball movement. The ball moves around. That's how you get 34 assists in a game. So he's on a team with way higher basketball IQ, way better coached, and he is going off. And you know what? He's going to continue to go off. Why? Because he's in the prime of his career. He can shoot the hell out of the basketball, and he can get to the open spots on the floor. He's athletic. So you got Pods, you got Moody, you got Hield. Trace Jackson Davis doesn't shoot, but when he does, it goes in.
Yeah.
Draymond Green is old, but you know what? He's still smart. And then look how loaded your bench is. 17 tonight for Kuminga in 28 minutes, 21 for Waters. Looney got into it. Anderson's I'm not an Anderson guy at all, and he was terrible tonight. But Anderson, from time to time, will give you some good games. They got some guys. Wiggins didn't even play. You have no Steph Curry, and you beat a pretty good Pelicans team, and you ran them off the floor. 40-point third quarter. I mean, it was incredible.
It was incredible. There was what were your thoughts first and foremost before? I mean, there's a lot to break down here, but the starting lineup was unique. It was a little unusual. Buddy Hield was inserted into the starting lineup. And he started for Andrew Wiggins. Moses Moody starting for Jonathan Kuminga, which was very interesting. I didn't like the move early on just because Brandon Ingram was eating the Warriors up in that first quarter. They had no answer for his height. Brandon Ingram, just to give you some perspective, again, the Pelicans led by 20 points. Brandon Ingram in that opening quarter, 5 of 8 from the field, 2 of 3 from deep for 12 points in a quarter. That's a run. But then things stabilized. Jonathan Kuminga came into the game, and I thought his defense tonight, I know people are going to look at that reverse cradle, which was an insane dunk. People are going to look at, the fact that he finally hit a 3-pointer tonight. His shooting was solid. But I thought his defense was what really helped the Warriors tremendously in this game. And he even said a couple days ago that that's one of his goals coming into the year is to be a defensive specialist. But what was your reaction to the starting five? And the starting five, side note, slight adjustment because Lindy Waters started the second half. I forgot who he started in the second half for, but what were you thinking early on when the Warriors are trailing and they had this new starting lineup? Because I don't think many people were optimistic, Larry.
No, I mean, I thought they were going to get run. I thought they were going to get run. And the fact that they didn't get run, it's like, come on, New Orleans. I mean, New Orleans got nothing from Jordan Hawkins.
Because the defense, I thought mostly I thought they clamped down on him, man. I at least with Jordan Hawkins, that's what I noticed. I noticed the defense picking up and preventing these wide open shots that he's accustomed to. But yeah,
there was no Trey Murphy the third. Right?
Yeah.
Is he? He's still on this team, right? He's just hurt, right?
Yeah, he was hurt tonight. Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So I mean, he's a hell of a player.
Mm-hmm.
So they were down him. I mean, Ingram and Zion both went off. But it's to me, the Warriors, this game was about the Warriors' energy, and they just kind of took over in that second quarter. I mean, they just came out with tons of energy, and then once they got a lift from Waters, I think the whole team just kind of loosened up, and they just played incredible ball. As far as the starting lineup, I think that was Kerr's smartest lineup to put out there. I mean, you have no Wiggins, you have no Steph. You want to, these are your best players. I mean, Podziemski's a really smart player. He's looked really good, and Moody is probably had the best preseason of anybody on the team. Buddy Hield had the hottest start. So it's like you got to replace points. The one guy that can give you points in bunches is Buddy Hield, and they got it tonight. They got 28 from Buddy. I mean, this is why Buddy's so good, is because Buddy can go for 30 points, in an NBA game. He's a big time scorer. I mean, and it's not easy to have guys who can shoot. I mean, he does it. It's amazing. Everybody always thought of him as such a bad player, but I mean, this guy shoots the basketball incredibly well, and it's like that's a skill that translates well over time.
And I agree with what Zal, if that's the name, writing. The Warriors beat a legitimate playoff team. The Pelicans they're a legitimate playoff team. ATGYY writing a correct statement that Pods was horrible in the first half. He couldn't make anything. I was really just discouraged watching him play, and then like a lot of people turned it around. Clearly the first quarter was an anomaly. It reminded me of there was a preseason game of the Warriors had a similar awful start, or maybe it was one of the first regular season games. But Buddy Hield, who was one of the stars of this game, his first half numbers, just to read to you what the contrast was for him. In the first half, Buddy Hield had a whopping 3 points, was 1 of 8 from the field, was 1 of 5 from deep. And then you switch it over to Buddy Hield in the second half, and more specifically the fourth quarter. But the second half numbers for Buddy Hield: 8 of 10 from the field, a perfect 6 of 6 from deep, 25 second half points. In the fourth quarter, which is where he really shined, 6 of 8 from the field, 4 of 4 from deep, 19 points in the fourth quarter. A 19-point quarter, folks, is a massively large sum of points. It was fantastic. But the Lindy Waters thing, Larry, I guess he clearly has shown from tonight's effort. And you mentioned the stats. I'll read them again just because why not? It was such a great stat line. He played 30 minutes. He was 8 of 13 from the field, 3 of 7 from deep, a 21-point night, led all players in net rating with a plus 26. That is the impact of Lindy Waters. Moving forward, Larry, it's not in the realm of impossibility to have a 13-man rotation. The Warriors themselves were doing it 10 years ago with the 2014-15 team when Brandon Rush was the 13th guy off the bench. Kerr figured out how to make it work back then with players like Leandro Barbosa, even players like Festus Ezeli. We all know about Sean Livingston, Andre Iguodala. In your opinion, is someone going to have to sit because of Lindy Waters? Like, is Kyle Anderson going to be a victim in this? Or can they make it work with 13? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I'm not a Kyle Anderson fan. I mean, I don't know how many times I got to say it. I mean, I'm just not. I mean, let's see. What did he do tonight? Tonight he played 20 minutes. He was 0 for 9, 0 for 6 from 3.
Look at his net rating, Larry. This is what he does routinely.
2 rebounds, 4 assists, 6 steals. 6 steals.
The Warriors had
6 steals.
The Warriors had 5 steals in the first half from 5 different players. Their hands were all over the place tonight. But the Kyle Anderson thing, his 3-point shot
is a lot in an NBA game, man. That is a lot. That's a crazy stat line. He had 6 steals in 20 minutes.
Yes, correct.
That's a ridiculous number.
Well, I see 5. What are you looking at for your box score? ESPN?
Yeah, I go to ESPN.com.
I'm on the NBA. This is where ESPN. It's crazy how they screw things up a lot. I'm on the NBA's box score right now, and it says he got 5, but who cares?
Are you saying that your box score is more accurate than my box score?
I do. I've seen it only because I've gone through this so much with postgame shows where I've had the ESPN box score, and then I'll have people in the chat saying, no, that's not correct. And then when I double check it, it turns out that people are right. ESPN is wrong routinely. I sadly can't trust them anymore when there's a discrepancy.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this, it's not, NBA, everybody who's covered the NBA knows that the box score that comes out at the end of the game is the final box score, but it's not necessarily the final official box score because they then go review it and they often make changes I mean, often, like almost every game, I think they make some change. I'm not necessarily to the score, and they don't change the score, but as far as stats and what was the, what they steal or rebound or this or that, you see the box score altered slightly sometimes within, like, let's say 15 minutes of the game. So now
I roll now, and this is the only box score I roll with. It's the NBA's, the actual NBA. And Larry, I'll show you. It's incredibly public. They just, for some reason, the NBA hides it. Like, I had to have someone else show me once where to find the NBA official box scores. The same ones, Larry, that if you're sitting in the media section, the one they hand to you on a piece of paper, like at the end of every quarter. You actually have
I do like the quarter. I do like the quarter boxes. I wish you could go somewhere and get the quarter boxes.
You can. That's and I will show you after the show how to do that, because that's where I get all the information.
There's real growth here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be seeing box scores by quarter, like I'm in the arena.
That's the show, and it's entertaining. God damn it!
It's worth watching. It's worth checking out, by the way, because if you do, I mean, a lot of times it does tell the story if you look at it by quarter.
Well, exactly. And here, in fact, Larry, just to help you out a little bit, I'll put the link for the quarter by quarter box score in our private chat right now, so you could actually look at it, and then I could lose you for the show. And again, for the audience out there who's going, why are you guys talking about box scores? Shut the F up, sit down, pay attention.
We'll do it.
Obey.
Do what we want.
It's our show. You're going to sit there and do what we tell you, and you're going to like it. God damn it! Now eat your porridge and shut the F up. No, look. But I just sent you the box score. I don't know if you're gonna.
Look at that. Look at this thing.
It's the old school one, baby. It's the old school one. Anyway, so Larry, we got to talk about Jonathan Kuminga, because the first 3 games of the season were abysmal. I mean, look, I love the kid, and I could not defend him. His shot wasn't falling. He wasn't aggressive. He looked like he was in his head. He was not playing good basketball in any regard. There was not a single facet of his game in 1 through 3 of the regular season that I could sit here and say, well, at least he was doing that. It was awful from top to bottom. Tonight was an entirely different story. I don't think him coming off the bench had much to do with it. I could be wrong on that. Maybe Jonathan Kuminga, the 6th man, is the answer. Who knows? I think this season is going to involve a lot of experimentation to discover who is a good fit where, like tonight being a great example of Lindy Waters. Like, he has to play now. He has to be a part of this rotation moving forward. But Jonathan Kuminga played 28 minutes in this game, too shy of the 30 that I clamor for, that I think this kid needs to play night after night for us to truly realize what we're getting for this player, like who he is, what his ceiling is. But in 28 minutes, 6 of 13 from the field, he had 3 3-point attempts and made 1 of them. Good enough. That's 33.3%. That's the Mendoza line of 3-point shooting. 33% from 3 equals 50% from 2. You like that? You want that? He was a perfect 4 of 4 from the free throw line, a +4 net rating, 17 points on the nights, 3 rebounds. That number could go up a little bit, but he had 2 steals. I thought his defense was fantastic. I know I said that earlier. Even had a blocked shot in this game. The point is, the Jonathan Kuminga we saw tonight is the one I think we're all hoping emerges on a consistent basis. It's just one game. We're playing this exact same team tomorrow. I'm sorry for saying we. The Warriors are playing the exact same team tomorrow, so we'll find out if he can consistently do it. But for one night, we saw the Kuminga that we want to see. Your reaction, your thoughts to Mr. Kuminga?
Well, I'm always been a Kuminga fan. I'm always pushing back on the people who don't like Kuminga. JD and I get into it all the time because I don't think JD likes Kuminga.
Well, he's an idiot, but sorry. When it comes to that, at least, and Warriors. Sorry,
JD's not an idiot. But we don't agree on Kuminga, and I just think of Kuminga as the best young talent on this team. I mean, he's an incredible talent, and I would love to see. I think the Warriors. I don't think the Warriors are going to do a lot this year. I mean, I think they're going to do. I think they're going to do more than I thought because Buddy Hield is looking great and Waters is looking great and they've got this incredible depth. But still, Steph is older and Draymond's older. They're the 2 best players on the team. Don't tell me about how awesome they look in October. Let's take a look what they look like in February. Mm-hmm. It's a marathon, and you've got older guys who are your best players. So I like them closer to 40 wins. You know what I mean? I don't think some people are really optimistic and think it's a 50-win team.
Well, you brought it up.
The first week has looked really good. They do look like a 50-win team out of the chute. I just don't know if that's going to continue, because like tonight they won without Steph, but I don't know if they're going to be able to put that together. As far as Kuminga, though, I think Kuminga, if I could make one change to this team, I think I would start Kuminga.
You would keep him in the starting lineup?
Yeah, I mean, like, how about without Steph, how about Pods and Buddy and, Kuminga and Moody and either Green or Trace Jackson Davis against the small teams? And then how about Kuminga instead of Moody with Green and Trace Jackson Davis against the bigger teams? That's how I'd go.
It's not a bad approach. I
want Kuminga in there, though. You know what I'm saying? Kuminga's too premier of an athlete. He's too athletic. He's too. Invest the time, get him going. You're going nowhere this year if Kuminga and Moody don't lead you there. If they're just along for the ride, then you're not going anywhere. But if you can get those guys to lead you, and then you can play around those two young guys, that's what's going to make the Warriors a playoff team.
Well, just to add to that, the individual you're referring, he not only did he hate on Kuminga, he also hated on Moody. I just have no respect for his basketball opinions, but that's just me. But I think the Buddy Hield coming off the bench, it's been working. I know last game it flailed a little bit. He had an awful shooting night, but we saw tonight Buddy Hield starting had an awful start. I mean, the first quarter numbers again, just in case you missed the very beginning of the show, Buddy Hield in the first quarter, which thankfully did not reflect the final score, the end result, was 0 of 4 from the field, was 0 of 2 from deep, was a -9 in rent rating, had 0 points. And then it seems like him coming off the bench is the right fit. And again, Brandon Ingram in this game had a hot start, and a lot of that was because the team had no one to defend him. Brandon Ingram's like, 6'9", 6'10"? He's very similar as an offensive player, at least, to Kevin Durant, in the sense that he's got this height, but he also has this skill set of a guard where he can shoot threes. He can make you can't leave him open because he'll burn you immediately. And Brandon Ingram in the first quarter had 12 points on 2 of 3 shooting from deep, 5 of 8 overall. And the majority of those buckets were because the Warriors had just shorter dudes guarding him who could not in any way impact his shot. Then Kuminga comes in, immediately starts playing defense, and then everything started changing. And we saw it from there. What were your thoughts, by the way, of Moses Moody? Moses Moody, who started the game, and he's had a fantastic start to the year, and it continued tonight. Dude, Moses Moody, the only issue I had with him tonight was his minutes. He only played 17 minutes, 30 seconds, and I don't know why he got kind of screwed over in the rotations there. It doesn't matter. The Warriors won, but he had 17 points. He was 6 of 8 from the field, 5 of 6 from deep, which makes me want to look up his shooting numbers real fast. But while I do that, Larry, your reaction to Moody, who's having a great start to the season. I love this kid.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to be more aggressive offensively. He only took 3 shots in the first half. He only had 3 points. I mean, with no Steph Curry, this guy's got to shoot. They need his points.
Yeah.
They need him to score. And to take only 3 shots from the field in the first half, that's a little too passive. Yeah. I like Moses, but to me, at this point, I feel like somebody needs to shake him and go, hey, look, you had your first couple years. You've gotten your feet wet. It's go time. I know you're making a lot of money and life's good, but it's time to like go out there and lead the team. You and him and Kuminga are at that age where it's time for them to, they came into the league at 19. They're now 22. They've had 3 years in. They figured out the whole thing. Take off. You're the young guys with the fresh legs who can play big minutes and score lots of points and take lots of shots. I want to see Moses be more assertive. I want to see Kuminga in the starting lineup. I want to see him and Moses be way more offensively assertive and let you defer. I mean, Moses is a great guy. He's such a great guy that he's deferred to a fault, I think, at this point. Stop deferring and take over. And the same thing I'd say to Kuminga. Stop deferring and just go to the bucket as hard as you can all the time and rebound the ball. As long as you defend and rebound and go hard to the bucket, you can start every night and you can make millions, and we'll sign the big extension. Let's do it. But I mean, they've got to have their 22-year-olds stop acting like they're youngsters
Yeah.
and start leading, because that's ultimately what's going to make them. I mean, look at the first half of this game. Moody took 3 shots. Kuminga took 8 shots, made 3, but Kuminga was their leading scorer at half.
Yeah. And no, I agree with everything you're saying. Everything you're saying. Kuminga particularly, he needs to just stop thinking. He's in his head. He needs to just go out there and just be the savage beast that he is. He's strong. He's athletic. Most people in this game cannot stop him. There was a play, although there was a play early on, I don't know if you saw it, Larry, where he went up for a dunk, and it was a one-handed dunk, and he got blocked by the Pelicans 7-footer. I think he's like a rookie or a second-year guy, the kid, Yivis Missy. And every time I saw
that in the draft, I mean, this is a shot blocker. This is good. This guy's got crazy length. Missy is a ridiculous athlete, great impact length, shot blocker, rim runner.
Yeah, he is. And every time I saw him out there, I kept thinking to myself, will the Warriors ever get anyone like this? Like, do you realize how much easier life will be if the Warriors just had a shot blocking center out there to help out the other 4? I just never get it. I want to address a couple things in the chat here real fast before we continue talking Warriors. First of all, I just want to, this has nothing to do with anything other than I got the equipment to improve the quality of my production side. So Jazazonites.
Why can't you get with the rest of us? And
I know. That's
like,
all me, dude. I actually
I'm in
got
2024. I'm talking to 1987 over here.
I will update this very soon. I actually got it. It's now in the house.
I kind of feel like you're
and I will
on the show. I can't see the background. I mean, there's no lighting. It's awful. I just feel like you're not putting everything you have into it.
It's awful. Things will improve over time. Hankster in the chat, kind of being a little insulting here, saying our show should be called The Golden Gaze, not The Golden Days.
That's very mature of you, Hankster.
I'm a little hurt. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little, my feelings are hurt right now.
I'm more mad than anything. I'm more mad at that guy. You're hurt. I'm more mad about it.
How dare you be homophobic, you son of a bitch.
Zal says, tell Krueg Niners will be okay.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Thank you, Zal. Thank you.
But going back to the Warriors here, I want to talk about Draymond Green for a second, because right after my show yesterday with Sophia Jones, the beautiful and talented Sophia Jones, she's incredible and she improves each week. I love having her as a new once a week co-host. And right after the show ended, an inside source told me that the reason why and this is why I didn't mention it on the last show, and I'm mentioning it now, and I only published this on my Threads account because sometimes I'll post something there where I have like a 300 character limit, and then I forget about reducing it by 2/3 to post it on Twitter. But anyway, Draymond Green.
Why did you go to Threads? I mean, it was a smaller audience than.
Not anymore. Now the audience is almost virtually the same. It's like a difference of 50 million users. Oh yeah. I get way more engagement on Threads than I ever did on Twitter. And the crowd is.
You
far
like
more
Threads?
civil.
You prefer Threads to Twitter?
I do much more. Well, one of the things is I can post a 6-minute video, and I don't have to pay an extra penny. I can write 300 characters instead of 120 or whatever the limit is at Twitter, and not have to worry about.
To choose. You could be on both, right?
And I am on both, yeah. So, my point is, I forgot to publish this on Twitter. This news that I broke, which is that Draymond Green, in case folks missed this, the last game where the Warriors got beat pretty handily by the Clippers, Draymond was benched the last 8 minutes of that game. He was benched by Steve Kerr because he was routinely not running past half court. He was throwing some sloppy passes, resulting in really a disappointingly high number of turnovers. There was another reason too that he got benched, but the influence for the benching, besides the fact that that's very new, like Draymond Green on
no turnovers
does not get benched normally, right? He got benched, and a huge part of that was Jerry Stackhouse, who is apparently just a major, a tough individual, a badass, reportedly when it comes to practices and the temperature of the room when he's coaching. He has command of it, and this was supposedly a Jerry Stackhouse influenced decision to tell Draymond Green, if you're not going to hustle out there, sit your ass down and you're done for the night. And so he got benched, which again, the only other time I ever saw that happen was in the NBA Finals back in 2022 for similar reasons. He wasn't playing well, but in that case, it was the NBA Finals. You do what you got to do. Since then, before then, it never happened outside of maybe Draymond Green's first year or two. So he gets benched. He also wasn't crashing the glass defensively to grab boards. That was the other reason that he got benched. He left the locker room before the media had a chance to go in there and ask interviews. So right after the game, he's upset. He bails. Tonight was a different story. I thought Draymond Green, he made the backpack three, but more importantly, he had a really tough defensive assignment on Zion Williams. And I thought he held his own. I know Zion Williamson. I'm sorry. I know Zion still put up his points. He got 31 points in this game, still had 8 rebounds. But Draymond Green was a plus 15 in net rating, which is particularly particularly sticks out because he was one of the starters. He was in there when the Warriors were down 20. He was playing in a lot of those minutes. He still finishes a plus 15, hits his backpack three. He added 7 assists on a night when the team only had one natural point guard out there in Brandon Podziemski. I thought he played fantastic basketball. Your thoughts on Mr. Draymond Green?
Well, he's a genius. I mean, he's a basketball genius. I mean, he's got the ability to impact the game without impacting the box score greatly. I mean, if you looked at this box score and you were a box score scout, you'd be like, oh, yeah, well, he wasn't very good. Yeah, he had 3 points and he had 3 rebounds. But the 7 assists, especially without Steph and, the no turnovers, that's nice. Those are good numbers.
Oh yeah.
I would love it if he could shoot the 3 this year the way he shot it last year. We'll see if that can continue. That would be huge.
40%, dude. It was just shy of 40% last year, which is
that was never. I thought his 3-point shooting was never coming back a couple of years ago. I thought it was like forever gone. And to me, the fact that he got to 40% last year was amazing. If he could keep that going, that would be great. But the nice thing with this Warrior team early is that Kerr, you can say what you want about Kerr's faults, and nobody's a perfect coach, right? I mean, the guy's the coach of the Olympic team, and he's got tons of rings. He's been incredibly successful. I'm not saying he's the greatest coach of all time. I'm not saying that your issues with him are not legitimate. All I would say is that the one thing that I thought, that I think is vitally important in the NBA is it's like you're a jockey and you got to get around the track. And it's like nobody, you're never successful in a horse race if you die in the backstretch, or if you fall on the ground and the race ends. I mean, it's like, so you got to keep the group together. And to me, the most underrated aspect of Kerr is he does unite the guys and he keeps everybody going in the same direction. He as a bench guy, he doesn't forget the bench. Whatever he does, he verbalizes what he needs to verbalize. Whatever, he keeps the guys for the most part engaged, and they felt really good about. They went to Hawaii, they came back really united. I'm sure he struck a perfect vibe. Their families were there. I mean, how do you get mad at each other when you're sitting in perfect Hawaii? And everybody's kissing your butt and your family's butt, and let's take Junior down to the beach, and let's do it. It's like, so the team bonded. There's a bunch of new faces. They're a lot deeper, and they're sharing the basketball out of the chute. And there was some question as to whether they would, and they are. So somebody asked in the chat, do I like them still under? I saw 43.5. I said they were I told Murph 38 wins. I could see 45. I mean, it's going to be right there. But I'll still stay with the under just because, what doesn't change is that it's still a grind, and Steph and Draymond are older. And now the Stackhouse thing is interesting because it's awesome that the Warriors have found somebody who can hold Green accountable.
Yeah.
On their staff. And Stackhouse, I don't know if you guys remember, but Stackhouse dropped Jeff Hornacek with a big right hand on the baseline when they got into it. Stackhouse is tough. Stackhouse will fight, and he'll throw hands. He's tough.
Let me see if I can find that clip. I'll play it if I can find it.
Yeah, I mean, it's there. I mean, I remember it like it was yesterday. Hornacek said something to him, and he just smacked him, knocked him down, hit him hard.
Here it is right here. I'll get it ready. And Jeff Hornacek, for some reason, I always thought, and I know this
player too.
And I know this is super. He was a great player, great shooter, especially defensively was a bit of a liability. But for some reason, Hornacek just always, to me, and I was a kid watching him play. He just had one of those faces that you just wanted to punch. And it was just kind of like that scene from Step Brothers where Rob Riggle, is that his name? He's telling Will Ferrell's character, he's going, I don't know what it is about your face, but I just want to clock it right in the nose. And for some reason, Jeff Hornacek, I got those same vibes. Anyways, here's that video.
He also had a hell of a game. The guy had an incredible.
He did. Offensively,
was a player.
He couldn't stop a fly defensively, but offensively, he was incredible. Here's that play you're talking about. This is from someone's Facebook account because for some reason I couldn't find it on YouTube. This is Warriors assistant coach Jerry Stackhouse and Jeff Hornacek. Apologies for the video quality. And the no and off.
2-on-1 Hornacek. And then Stackhouse gone with Hornacek. Wow, and the benches are going to empty now. And Hornacek. Don't anybody come off the bench. 2-on-1 Hornacek. And then Stackhouse gone with Hornacek. Wow, and the benches are going to empty now.
Boom. Hit him a few times hard.
That's a couple games suspension for Stackhouse.
All right, there we go. So that's
Stackhouse. So I mean, I'm just saying, Stackhouse will throw hands. He's tough. So I mean, they probably need to kind of rein in Draymond a little bit because I mean, part of his thing is kind of a physical intimidation deal, and it's like sometimes you got to have some balance in the room. It's always nice to have a checks and balances, especially if. If you want to keep Draymond in check. I mean, I'm not saying what NBA assistant coach, starts fighting millionaires. It's not, I'm not saying Stackhouse is, but if you told me that Stackhouse and Green went nose to nose on a bus in a locker room at some point later this year, I wouldn't be like, whoa, really surprised. No, I'm not surprised. I think it's going to happen for sure.
You'd follow up with who won? Who won that fight?
I'd follow up with, do we have footage?
Yeah.
No, but is there somebody? We know there's somebody with the Warriors that would leak it to us.
Ron Adams would be more engaged seeing that fight than when Draymond Green punched Jordan Poole. He might actually be interested in that one. And for people that don't understand,
it won't be leaked to us because we're not in the first tier, but it could be leaked to somebody in that top tier.
And for folks who don't understand the tier thing, right, to provide some context, the NBA revised their media access. Before, it was so easy to go in the locker room and you could schmooze with the players. You could get to know them, ask them questions. Now they have these different tiers. It's like a class system, like where tier 1, you get full access. You can go into the locker room. If you're tier 2, you can be in the interview room. That's where the press conferences are. Oh. But no. If you want to go in the locker room, you're not tier 1, buddy. You got to be tier 1. So that's what we're talking about in terms of.
How about tier 3? Is there tier 3 for like total morons who like sit in like a room, like off to the side and listen to a speaker of the room, or maybe sit on a curtain on the other side of the room. They don't get to ask questions or even be in the presence of the great Kerr, but they can be behind a curtain so they can hear him. And it can be piped in like a tier 3. Maybe you could even do a tier 4 where you're not in the arena. You're more outside the arena, covered, but still kind of cold and listening through a speaker. Maybe tier 4. Tier 5, you can only watch while you're on BART. And you can ask a question, but only in a text form.
Yeah, I don't know what tier sexual favors comes in. I don't know if that's tier 6 or tier -1. But anyway,
tier 7 is that you have to be 25 miles away from the arena.
You were speaking a moment ago about Steve Kerr, and we were talking about Jonathan Kuminga and the fact that he came off the bench. Well, some sound is coming down. I obviously haven't heard any of this yet. This is as new to me as it is to you. Here's Steve Kerr. This is courtesy of the official flagship radio station of the Warriors, 95.7 The Game, your former employer, Larry. And they posted this. This is Steve Kerr getting into the details of what went down with that decision to bench Kuminga. And according to the caption of this video, he let Kuminga know he's still going to play, even if he's not starting.
Spotlight's obviously on Jonathan entering his fourth season. You moved him to the bench tonight. He plays a season high in minutes. I'm just curious on your perspective on where he's at rotationally with you. I guess why the move to the bench and what you.
Well, without Steph and Wiggs, I didn't want to start Trace, Draymond, and JK. I wanted a little more spacing, and I knew it would be a JK game. I knew he would play a lot because he's played well against this team. The matchups are good for him. And so I told him before the game, you're going to play a lot. This is just about combinations and getting a little more spacing on the floor to start. So all it is just shuffling the lineup to try to get the right 5-man grouping on there. But without Steph and Wiggs, to me it didn't make sense to start the 3 guys without those cards.
You
All right. So I do.
It'd be awesome. It'd be awesome if Kerr would walk into the presser and be like, "Hey guys, fire away with your questions. The only thing I would say is, hey guys, just no questions about the rotation. How about that? All right, go ahead, guys. Go ahead. What questions do you have?
You said rules.
No questions about the rotation. What do I ask? How was Hawaii?
So I do appreciate that I like hearing any instance where communication is actually happening. I feel like that solves most of the problems that you see in any environment. Sorry about my dog. I don't know what that was barking at.
It's very intense. I'll say this: it's very intense for 82. For considering you're playing 82 of these things, it's pretty freaking intense.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, come on, bro.
It's very intense.
I don't know. I got 14 pretty good players. I mix it up. I throw them out there. He didn't start, but he played a lot. I mean, it's like, he
but
finished. It's not about who starts; it's about who finishes.
That's the West for you. It is war. You know what's weird, Larry? You're right. There's 82 of these.
Pretty intense questioning for game 4 of 82.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You're right. It's the 4th game out of 82, but it felt like a damn playoff game. That's how it felt to me, man. It was intense.
Why?
Like, what's up?
Why? Because
every one of these games matters. Because even though there's 82 of them, the West is so deep. Every single one of these games, like last week when we had our show, I mentioned the fact that the Warriors have to start like 5-2. They can't afford to lose more than 2 games in the first 7 because of the overall 82 game schedule, because of how tough every opponent is. You are not going to get more than a handful of easy nights. Like the Wizards are coming up. Is that even easy? I don't know, but you have to win that game. You have to get a split against these Pelicans. You can map out the entire schedule and see where you can hypothetically get 50 wins, but there's no room for error. And on one hand, it's super entertaining because, again, all these games are mattering and you're super into it without having to bet on it. On the other hand, like you said, it's stressful, dude, because everyone's taking it so seriously. That's the Western Conference for you, dude. It's
no,
wild.
You're right. And I mean, I know that it's pro sports and obviously they take it seriously. 1025 says at PS at 1025 says, I'm impressed with Dunleavy. Another great draft to pull Waters out of his hat was impressive. Yeah, that's a good comment from PS. And I think Dunleavy does need to be kind of applauded here. I mean, the one thing that's kind of interesting to me is that when you look at why the Niners, for example, maybe are struggling a little bit, and then you look at why the Warriors, are they kind of seem to be thriving here at the early part of the year. The Niners have lost some depth because of some decisions they've made, and going after Hargrave and missing on all these number ones, and missing on the number ones, going after Hargrave, and just injuries have thinned their depth. So now they're not quite as deep, and it's not quite the same team. I kind of think of, the Hargrave move, kind of like the Warriors going in on KD, and then they got to that Toronto finals and KD got hurt and Clay got hurt and they had no depth. And all of a sudden it was like, look how deep Toronto is. The Warriors are better, but man, Toronto's deeper. and they're sure deeper now. So depth matters, and it's like to see the Warriors get that depth back this year and now have this incredibly deep basketball team. That's kind of cool, and that's like kind of, depth in sports. All these guys can play. You know what I mean? Nobody knows Lindy Waters, but guess what? That was a really nice pickup, and that guy can play, and he's legit. He's not like, oh, he had one nice night. No, that guy can flat out shoot the basketball.
Well, and just to add,
he's
to
not
that,
going to be
Larry,
covered on this team. There's so many other guys.
And just to add to that, the reason why the Warriors were even able to get Lindy Waters is because the team he was formerly on, the OKC Thunder, are one of the few other teams in the NBA who are in the conversation with the Warriors in terms of depth. The Thunder are so deep,
yeah.
That Lindy Waters was expendable. And so
right. Amazing.
Go ahead, sir.
No, I was just saying it's amazing. Sam Presti's amazing. And so maybe, you know what? Maybe we should give Dunleavy a little bit. I mean, I didn't know much about Dunleavy other than he was a top 3 pick that, kind of had an NBA career, made some money, but I don't know that he ever really made any, fulfilled his potential. But maybe his true calling, his dad was a very good player and a very good coach and executive. Maybe his calling was to be a good but not special player, but maybe he'll be a special executive. Who knows? I'm impressed by Dunleavy and some of the moves. I got to be honest.
I am too. I've been giving him his due on the Golden Dazers. I've heard it. I've been giving him credit so far for the transactions he's made, including Lindy Waters, including Buddy Hield. Digital Drew in the chat. There's a few chats that have actually dropped money on us. We'll address all of them. Digital Drew was asking, when is the last time the Warriors had this much depth? My answer is 2014-15. Again, there's very, very similar echoes here between that team and this one in terms of depth. People forget. I don't. It seems like it's like a brand new story that Steve Kerr has a 12-man rotation, a 13-man rotation. He had this 10 years ago. The Warriors had a 13-man rotation. I don't know why people are forgetting about that, but that's what I think of when I see this team. What about you, Larry?
Well, when I was watching the fourth quarter, I was thinking to myself, I wonder if Pat Spencer could put on some raggedy clothes and just go down to play on the street for money and just dominate people for money. Doesn't he seem like that guy would just dominate? I mean, he has got so much game for a guy who's just, a backup player in the NBA. And of course, his brother played for UConn this year. No, but seriously, I'm impressed by the sheer depth. I mean, you have no Wiggins, you have no Steph Curry, and tonight you still had enough of an arsenal to put up 124.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty impressive, really. I love the pickup of Buddy. I think Podziemski's a smart player. He does a lot of good things. Trace Jackson Davis is one of my favorites. And then I'll be interested to see the Green thing, because Green is kind of the volatility on this team. And if there is some new world order with Stackhouse kind of stepping up on Green, it'll be interesting to see how that impacts Draymond's effort, as the season goes on. Because, he's kind of thought to be the alpha in the room. If there's another alpha or two in the room, that could change things. But I love what I'm seeing out of Lindy Waters. I really like that pickup. I like guys who can shoot the basketball. That's why I like the pickup of Hield, and I like the pickup of Waters, because shooting is, they had Clay, and Clay was a shooter, a great shooter, and gave this team a lot. But, then there was his whole ego and the way he couldn't handle, the twilight of his career, I thought made this team just have terrible chemistry the last couple of years. And now that they've moved on from him, there's just this huge weight off their shoulders. And they just feel so much looser. And now, you got Buddy and you got Waters, and, they've got, Melton didn't play tonight as well. There's another guy. No Wiggins, no Melton, no Curry. And it was like, you score 124. That's pretty good. It's damn good. Incredibly deep.
It's why I've been saying from the start, man, this is the deepest team in the NBA. And I strongly believe in that opinion. The Woodpit adding that OKC fans were saying about Lindy Waters. I had a guest on a couple months ago confirming this as well. By the way, Aussie Rules is coming from your side of the spectrum, from the Krueg show audience. And I love this, the YouTube scorecard. This is how many people are watching live right now. So your show and my show combined is a dual stream. We've got over 600. NorCal Sports, is that Dan Coach Emilio's?
That is Dan Coach Emilio.
All right, so he came on my program. He's come on a couple times, and I love that, Dan. Thank you.
He's
he came
great.
on when Rick Barry was a guest, and because Dan's brother and Rick, I guess, have some sort of connection and some history there. But I love this. Here's what I love about this.
I wish we could like go kind of check out other shows for a couple minutes and then come back. You know what I mean? That'd be kind of cool.
Depends on the show, Larry. Depends.
I'd like to see what NorCal Sports Network is doing tonight.
Well, they're talking World Series, I'm guessing. That would be my theory. But here's what I love. And no offense to your current employer, KNBR, but the fact that we're beating KNBR and the game combined. Either of our shows individually are beating those two combined. That's the revolution, folks. I like seeing
Well, technically, the game and KNBR together would be beating me.
But what, like a smidge?
By a couple.
Smidge? Like a smidge.
I did go to St. Ignatius. I there was my math teachers could be watching. I want to make sure that they know that I can do
math.
I can do basic math. And
let's go back to playing some sound. Who do you want to hear from next? Do you want to hear from Buddy Hield or do you want to hear from Lindy Waters? We got sound from both.
I want Buddy Hield. Give me some Buddy Hield.
All right, here is Buddy Hield.
He's my new favorite player.
Oh,
and by the way, Kings fans, just suck it. You know, I don't know what else to say. I mean, Kings fans and my brother, I'm really talking to my own brother on this one. That's right. That's right. Buddy freaking Hield, baby, is a warrior, and he's kicking ass and taking names. Buddy freaking Hield.
Yeah, well, we all know the Sacramento Kings are the little brother. When I say little, I mean little teeny weeny. Perry Olson in the chat trying to stick up for the terrestrial radio stations who are very digital now, saying that those stats figure because they're still radio stations, not YouTube channels. They both have YouTube channels. I think the game has 100,000 subscribers. We're still kicking their ass. That is not a valid excuse. It's because the talent is here, mother effers. Anyways, you know me, I'm very humble all the time. Well, and playing KNBR is your home. I'm not meaning to dig.
I'm very humble.
Digs. KNBR was my former home of 10 years. You and I met from there, man.
I've worked for all these stations at this point. So
everywhere.
Let's just treat everybody good. Kumbaya. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Here's Buddy Hield.
I'll never rip anybody again. Maybe that will hurt me, but you know what? I'll probably never rip anybody ever again. Go ahead.
Yeah, until the next time. Here's Buddy Hield. He was asked what was the turning point in this game, and the answer should not surprise you.
Considered really the turning point of the game because you're down 17 after one. It looked fairly bleak, but where did you see the tide start to turn? You guys can make this run.
Lindy Waters. He making plays, he got us going. He's doing like taking it up the run bus and him making cuts, getting layups. And Draymond being a leader. And
there you go. Short and sweet. So that was Buddy
you'd
Hield.
think a guy that was in the league as much as him would know where the microphone was there. He's got his it's funny. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, let's see if the sound is any better with.
Do I sound any different over here with my arm in front of the mic?
Can you imagine if we did that?
Hey, I'm
all right. So up next, we got Lindy.
It sounds a little better if you're actually right there on the mic, but
let me look.
He didn't have headphones on.
So Lindy Waters was up next, and why don't we hear from Lindy, who led all scorers and sorry, I can't do it like that. All right, let's try this again. So here's Lindy Waters, who led the.
You're so distant. You're just in the background. Digital Drusus. Larry's in rare form tonight. I love it. Thank you.
Oh, dude, you're always in rare form, and by rare form meaning awesome. Brah. Here is Lindy Waters.
I assume so. We got a couple guys out, so just always stay ready. That's my mentality.
How tough is it to keep your shot feeling as good as it's looked despite, inactivity and so on?
I don't know. I got a strap on me, so I just wake up and I can shoot it no matter if I'm playing or not.
The rotation.
All right. It's the most scintillating interview of all time, but you know what? The guy can flat out shoot. I'd rather have a guy who's not great in the post game, but is really good in the game than somebody who's awesome in the post game, but not very good in the game.
And the reason why the audio was so bad is because that was courtesy of 95.7 The Game, their Twitter account, and they're not connected to the microphones. They're just like uploading these clips from their phones, basically holding their phones up. So the audio is not going to be that great. Apologies for that. So that was Lindy Waters. So I guess, should we not play those sound bites anymore, given the quality is just pure crap? Is it better to just not play those?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it.
Well, if you're enjoying it, we could. I have another one. This is here's Brandon Podziemski, who, like a lot of players, had a very slow start to the game tonight, and then turned it around. His 3-point shot was even falling. I want to read off Pods' stats in just a moment after we hear from Brandon Podziemski.
To watch him get going like that.
Yeah, I mean, you want to be amazed, but you see, what he puts into the game. Obviously, you guys seen that from Steph quite a bit in the recent years. But it's just impact he brings, off the floor, and the work he puts in. The game's just rewarding him. Even last night, we were in together, 11 o'clock shooting, me and Buddy. So, he's a guy that loves the game and does it because he loves the game. And now it's just the game kind of giving back to him and rewarding him.
Larry, I thought Pods actually handled being the only pure point guard on the team, given Melton and Steph were both injured. I thought he handled this spectacularly after the start. Again, his first quarter numbers, I'll read those to you real fast just to give you the perspective of how he started versus how he ended. In the first quarter of this game, Brandon Podziemski was actually not horrible. He was 1 of 3 from deep, 3 of 7 from the field, had 7 points in this game. But then you look at the final product, the finished result for Brandon Podziemski, 19 points. He was 3 of 8 from deep. That is good. That is right around 8%, somewhere around there. He was 8 of 18 from the field, added 5 assists, was a plus 17 in net rating, second on the Warriors. I still am blown away by his opening night number, where he had 0 points, yet was a plus 34 in net rating. This kid is something unique. What did you think, Larry?
Well, I mean, the key stat you didn't mention is 0 turnovers, despite having the ball in his hands for almost 34 minutes. And he took 18 field goal attempts, and he didn't turn it over one time. I mean,
I'm embarrassed.
I really think that was to me, that was the big part of this game. I mean, Golden State had 34 assists and 8 turnovers, and the Pelicans had 24 turnovers, which the Golden State Warriors turned into 34 points. So, I mean, the 34 points off Pelican turnovers was the game. I mean, that's a huge number right there. So, yeah, I mean, the Warriors, they played a really, really good game when you factor in how much the ball moves and, the fact that this is a relatively new combination. Steph is obviously the greatest player on the team by far. Wiggins is a key veteran player, and Melton is a terrific two-way guard. To not have any of those 3 guys and to come out and move the ball as well as they did. I mean, to me, if you had told me the Warriors were going to have 34 assists tonight, I would have said, wow, they're probably going to have 20 turnovers. But instead they had 8.
7, I think, right? 7 or 9?
8 turnovers.
See, this is where your ESPN number says 8, mine says 7.
No, I'm looking at the box that you gave me, though. I'm looking at the official final box. It says here 8 turnovers, and see, it says total turnovers at the bottom.
Oh, yeah, because it includes 1 team turnover, which those are always weird to me. So you're right. 8 team turnovers, 7 total turnovers.
See how dangerous I am when you give me the information?
You're right.
I have the box. I mean, I can sit there. I've got time to look at it.
7 is a very small number. That, you keep that up the entire year, and you're going to finish with close to 60 wins. That's how they go. Dude, Brandon Podziemski also had 2 blocks in this game. He was all over the place. Bravo to him, man.
His interview there was like a million times better than his interviews last year.
How so?
Well, I just think he was just so expansive with his answer right there. I mean, he's a bright kid. He went to Santa Clara. He's sharp. I mean, I interviewed him. Now, granted, the interview I did with him, he was in a car. He was in Vegas. He was going from summer league event to, he was a rookie. So it's not a good example. But I mean, he just gave a very long, expansive answer. He seems much more comfortable in front of the microphones this year.
He's maturing. There's no doubt about that. He's a sharp kid. He's a funny kid. I mentioned this before. Sorry for the redundancy, but I had a chance to chat with him for like 10, 15 minutes. We were just shitting there bullshitting for forever, talking about all sorts of stuff, a lot of which I can't repeat. Excuse me. But he definitely has a solid head on his shoulders. He's a good kid. Damian LaRoche here, writing, by the way, that he's happy that Lindy Waters killed it. But why is he getting double the minutes of Moses Moody? If Moses Moody had 30 minutes instead of his total tonight, which was 17 minutes, 30 seconds, Moody would have 30 points. And it's an interesting point. Moody, I don't get it. Like, for example, one substitution early in this game, which made no sense. About 5-6 minutes into the game, Moody was subbed out for Kuminga. It was weird at the time. I mean, who cares now because the Warriors comfortably won, but Larry, what do you think about that, man? Does it matter that Moody only got 17 minutes? What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, once again, he took 3 shots in the first half. He's a little too passive offensively. He's 22. This is his 3rd year. You need to, some guys just take the ball and just go, And even if they're too young, they're just not going to be very good. Kobe Bryant was that way. Monte Ellis was that way. They just go. They're going to go and they're going to shoot. And but I mean, either they're going to be out of the league or on the bench, or they're going to be great. And in those 2 cases, those guys became great. But I mean, I understand Moses defers. That's why he gets along. That's why they like him. That's why he fits in. But he's now 22. He's in his 3rd year in the league. He had the best preseason. He's got to be more aggressive in the first quarter. He's got to put up more shots. He's got to be more of an offensive focus. Focal point of this offense. I know they have Steph, but they didn't have Steph tonight. I know they have Wiggins. They didn't have Wiggins tonight. Take over.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. By the way, Rain King GW in the chat saying Zena Kata, who's one of the hosts with NBC Sports Bay Area, had a bunch of good sound bites. If I had producers like she does, if I was working in a studio that was part of the Golden State Warriors, and NBC Sports Bay Area is the official media partner of the Golden State Warriors, I would have those resources for you. I'm by myself. A little different here. I apologize that I can't match the studio output that Zena Kata has with NBC Sports.
She does a really nice job, by the way. Ray 1953 says trade Pods and JK for a center and sign Mac McClung.
What time did you see that?
10:43. Ray 1953 and at 10:43. I do think the Warriors need to make one trade. I really do. I think that the deal they need to make is they need to probably move Wiggins and Looney for like a Jared Allen or something like that. Or, they could use one more big man who could either be a rim protector or rim runner. Or, I mean, in theory, if you could have gotten like a Naz Reid where you had a rim protector, runner, and shooter, all in one, he played so well. He's played so well against the Warriors, but I'm not expecting they got enough shooting on this team. What they really just need is Jared Allen. They need Jared Allen. They need a 7-footer who can run the floor and jam and block shots and throw the lob to. And
well, here's the thing with Jared Allen.
It could be somebody else, but I mean, they need somebody like that.
Well, here's 2 things to add on to that. First of all, Clifford Ray. I don't know if he's still an assistant coach with the Cavaliers. He was last year, former Warriors great, champion on the 75 team. And he told me, because I brought that up with him, I told him that Jared Allen I thought would be perfect on this Warriors team. And on top of that, the Cleveland Cavaliers have a redundancy at the center position. They have 2 guys who play the same position. And, hopefully because of that, they would want to trade Jared Allen and keep a Mobley. He replied,
I would love to have Mobley. I mean, I would trade everything I could if I could get Mobley. If they were,
but they're not.
If they were willing to move Mobley, you want Kuminga, you want Wiggins, you want a bunch of picks, you want whatever Pods. Who do you want? Who exactly do you want? And I would give it to him for Mobley.
But here's the thing: he told me Cleveland has no desire to trade Jared Allen. Plus, Jared Allen also just signed an extension, so he wouldn't be available until I think January if he would be on the trading block. My point is,
Doesn't have to
I
be him.
love
It's
the
just somebody
idea.
who has that. Somebody has that kind of skill set.
Agreed. And here's what I request kindly of Ray 1953. And if you're born in 1953, I hope you're holding up well, brother. But for Ray and everyone else, if you come up with an idea like this, like if you want to trade Podziemski and Jonathan Kuminga for center, kindly add to that specifically who you want that to trade them for, because that's the hard part, right? like my dream is Giannis. I still think there is a hint of reality to that, of plausibility to that, because the Bucks, like I've been saying for a long ass time,
What are you going to trade to get him?
Say again?
What are you trading to get him?
Kuminga,
Okay.
Podziemski,
Okay.
Trace Jackson Davis. That should be enough. And if you need a salary filler, I guess Wiggins. But I mean, you got to throw the house to get a Giannis, right? Yeah. So that's Giannis would be the dream.
I think that seems like still a little light. I think I'd probably, if I'm them, I want more.
Do the Warriors have enough in your opinion? Like
No, I don't think they have enough. That's what I'm saying. I think that they're probably better off, instead of trying to go that superstar route, maybe seeing if they could, I don't know. Or I don't know. I just think that he's a pipe dream. I would love to have Giannis. I mean, there's nothing bad about Giannis. I mean, Steph and him would get along. That he's one of the best players in the league. He just seems like kind of a ball dominant player, and they use they do like to they do like to move the ball around. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly how he would blend. I think they would, obviously, if you can get him, he'd be the guy to get. Yeah. I don't think they can get him. That's why I really don't entertain it, because I just don't think they can. I don't think they have the pieces that.
That's a shame.
Somebody else will have better pieces than that.
Oh, that's a shame. But Giannis, the Bucks are a shit show. They're going to blow that thing up. It's not a matter of if. I think it's a matter of when. Maitland in the chat adding that Moody's a stud. Give him the freedom. You're absolutely right, Larry. Both him and Kuminga, they just have to be aggressive from the tip.
Take it over.
They just have to take control. You're absolutely right. I don't
take it over or move those guys, because either they're not going to do anything for you if you just play them off the bench. Some Mind Springer says JK for Jalen Duren. Jalen Duren would be a phenomenal addition.
I fell in love with him when the Warriors played the Pistons. He would be phenomenal. What's the who
1050 Mind Springers JK for Jalen Duren 1050 p.m.
I would Jalen Duren, if the Pistons would trade him, gimme, please. That would be an incredible trade. I if it's possible, sign me up. And Carson Taylor brings up Bam Adebayo, who is, I've said this before, is my dream player for the Warriors. I think he would be perfect, but I also don't.
But you're not getting him. I mean, you got to find that guy in the draft, because nobody's going to trade you Bam. I mean, Bam would be awesome. Bam's exactly what they need. What do they need? Bam. That's what they need.
You're right. But Miami's never trading him like that. There's no chance in hell they're giving up. He's a part of that culture. Pinoy reformat. I'm glad he brought this up, saying 4 games and no talk of passing on trading for Lauri Markkanen to keep Podziemski, because Podziemski has been playing that good. And what I want to add to that is a quote from Draymond Green. This is from a story published by ESPN, courtesy of an individual named Ohm Youngmisuk.
I know Ohm.
You know, is he Barry guy, I'm guessing?
No, he worked for ESPN. He's a good guy, though. He's
still
really
there,
good.
Still there.
Yeah.
So Ohm got a quote from Draymond Green talking about that trade, and there's no sound of this, so I have to give you the quote verbatim. The quote is, quote, "That could have been trash, by the way. Markkanen coming here, we don't know. We have never seen it, so there was no thought of what could have been, because we don't know what that looks like." I think that's kind of crazy talk. I mean, if Lauri Markkanen's on this Warriors team, like, they're kicking ass. Like that, like you ideally would be the perfect fit for this Warriors team. What do you think about that quote? I think that's kind of wild.
Whatever. I mean, I don't pay that any mind. It's like, yeah, great. All right, thanks for that. I mean, come on, we know it, Laura. He's a 2-time All-Star 7-footer who can shoot 40% from 3. He knows how to play, super strong. He's a terrific player. He'll play within the team concept. He would have been great. And should they have moved Pods? Yeah, they should have moved Pods. And the only reason nobody's talking about it is because it wasn't just Pods. It was going to be Pods and probably 4 or 5 other assets.
Yeah.
So I don't think people look at it like it's all on Pods to justify not getting Markkanen. I mean, it was going to be, if it had just been Pods for Markkanen, I think no doubt, but it was going to be Pods and Kuminga and 7 number 1s and pick swaps and Joe's grandchildren. And, I mean, it was going to, they asked for, Ainge was Ainge, right?
Yeah, Ainge does not seem like a fun person to have trade discussions with. He seems like someone who's asking for the world no matter what. Is it weird to you, by the way, that ESPN, the leader, they let go of Zach Lowe, which was a very unpopular move from at least from my attempt at reading the room, but they have 3 people on staff who cover the Warriors? Like, is that weird to you? Like, I don't.
Who do they have?
That place makes no sense. What's up?
They have Ohm. They have who else?
Mark Spears, who's I know is like a national.
He's doing.
He's a national, but he's like he covers the Warriors like 50% of the time. And then Kendra Andrews, who's their like official actual beat reporter. And not every team gets a beat reporter from ESPN. So the Warriors have 3 people who are always in the building.
The Warriors are one of the more interesting teams in the league to talk about. If you're going to have 3 people covering any team, it's probably this one. They have Steph Curry. They have Draymond Green. There's going to be fights and there's going to be great historic moments. I mean, that right there is like good enough reason. The Warriors, and they get Kerr, and it's a major market. I'm sure they want to be big in the Bay, and the Warriors are also thinking big. I mean, at some point they'll probably make some kind of significant move. I don't know what exactly they'll be able to do. I think the Markkanen thing might still happen. I could see that happening. I mean, it's just, sometimes it takes a while for these deals to like kind of come together.
Well, it can't happen until next year. It can't happen this year. So if it happened, it would be next off season.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it because teams love. I mean, if you love a player, you're not going to not love them just because the asking price was high.
Yeah.
And this is a great place for the voice of a brand new arena, beautiful arena. Steph Curry is the superstar, so the tone is very professional and positive. So it's I'm sure the Warriors are a coveted spot. I'm sure they are.
It's just, but again, it's just the decision to let Zach Lowe go. I found that
ESPN makes bad decisions, but they're paying Steve Screaming A. Smith so much money that they got to get rid of all kinds. I mean, there's all kinds of really good people. They got rid of Steve Young. My God. I mean, you get rid of Steve Young. I mean, I can't act like, whoa, they got rid of Zach Lowe. They got rid of Steve Young.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I love Steve Young. I love him. And he's your friend. How crazy is that? How often does he come on your show? Like once a month?
No, like once a year. I don't even ask him more than once a year.
Okay. Once a year is plenty. I mean, he's like one of the greatest legends in Bay Area sports history. I mean,
and he's very charitable. But I mean, he's also a really good football analyst. And forget, we know he's a Hall of Fame player, but I mean, it's like he's also a terrific analyst, and they got rid of him, but they've got, all kinds of meaningless people on the basketball side. So who knows?
I mean, non-fixing in the chat saying, do you ever bring up the fact that Markkanen has never played a full season? We brought that up. I don't think he's ever played more than 65 games in a year. Durability is an issue of his. You're absolutely right. Do you want to go to chat comments?
I mean, if you watched ESPN, one last comment on ESPN.
Yeah.
If you watched ESPN, you would swear that the WNBA was popping.
Well, it kind of is. Do you not think it is?
No, I mean, it's not. The ratings are terrible.
Well, the
revenue's down like 40%. They have
from a year ago, or what does that mean?
I just saw some metrics on it. The WNBA is losing money, lots of money. And you have women, you have girls in the league, women in the league that are complaining about what they're making, and yet the league is being sustained at a loss by the NBA. So it's like if you had to stand alone, you wouldn't even be making what you're making.
That's I gotta get because every Monday I have Sophia Jones, Mark Jones's daughter, co-host a show with me. We call it V for Valkyrie, and I gotta bring that up.
Plus it. I'm not against women or anything or against women's basketball. And I interviewed David Stern.
No, I know.
I asked him what was his greatest.
I'm
No,
not
no, I know.
insinuating that.
No,
Yeah.
but I'm sure there are people who are like, well, why are you so anti-WNBA? I'm not. I'm just being a realist. I'm telling you what the numbers say.
That's interesting.
It's
I
hemorrhaging
honestly,
money.
I thought Caitlin Clark was part of, like a revenue generating machine. The insinuation I guess I got is that the WNBA is finally making money. I like the players just bailed out of their CBA because they want more money. So there actually might be a work stoppage there at some point. But I did not know that they're still losing money. That's very interesting. Do you want to hear about us?
Yeah.
Couple people going personal with us. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. So hold on, where to go? Mindspringers saying this version of Just for Men works for Larry. I don't know what that means. Like you're dyeing your hair, or what? I mean, you have gray hair, so I don't get that. What?
Wait. Where does it say that? Who said that?
Mindspringers. It says
this version of Just for Men works for Larry.
Isn't that like hair dye? Like I know I need some of my beard.
First of all, I've never dyed, nor would I ever dye.
Same.
I will always, if my hair turns white, I will have white hair.
Same.
I would never dye.
So I don't get that. I don't get that at all.
And there's no pressure for me to do it. I mean, why would I do it? I mean, who am I impressing? I'm married. I have 4 kids.
Larry, you've got an audience. You've got 50,000 subscribers. You got to look good for the people, dude. But you do. So it's irrelevant. Harry Johnson saying, giving me props for the beard. Thank you. All right. Coast to Coast dropping $10. Thank you in advance because he wants us to answer this, saying Steve Kerr, I don't know what that word is, Eschechalus is Eschechalese is too stubborn to encourage Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody. That's the reason why they both played so timid. I don't know. I don't know. This is not written clearly. Blacked Steph and Dre too. Blocked for. I don't know what he's trying to say. Can you understand what Coast to Coast is trying to communicate here? Because I don't want to.
I don't know if Achilles. I don't know about that second word. ECIALLYIS.
I don't know what that is. Coast to Coast.
I'm not really sure.
Try again, please. We'll try to get you.
I'm not really sure, but you know what? That's $9.99. So how about that's a lot for that.
Follow up and try to communicate properly. I think what you're trying to say is that Steve Kerr is too stubborn to encourage Kuminga and Moody.
He encourages them. I think he encourages them. What he's got to do is he's got to say in front of the group, guys, we need to get Moody and JK going. If we don't get those guys going, we ain't going anywhere. Let's, and maybe it's not an entire team message. Maybe it's just a Moody, Kuminga, Draymond, Steph, a 4-person, hey, guys, let's go to dinner. Hey, by the way, Steph and Draymond, we need to get these 2 guys going every night so that we win 50 games. If those guys are just, trying to play off of us and they're only good every 4th game, we're going to win 40 games. All right. Yeah. So I'd rather win 50 games than 40 games. So let's get Moses and JK the ball and let's get them going. And then you guys who are Hall of Famers can work in around them because you're that good of players that you can get yours in the flow. But they're young, so let's get them going first and then fill in around them. That's, to me, the best idea. I don't know if Steve would agree with that, but that's how I feel.
And just in the chat, and again, $10. I hope that answered it. Carson Taylor dropped at $1.99 to say Lindy Waters needs consistent minutes. Wholeheartedly agree. And if it makes you feel any better, Steve Kerr did say in his post-game press conference, I don't have the sound, but I have the quote. The quote is, I got to find minutes for Lindy. So, and he's the coach. So if that's what he wants, he has the power to do it. So expect Lindy Waters to start playing more minutes. I don't know.
I mean, he should
lose those minutes, but
if you can flat out shoot it in the NBA, you need to play.
Agreed.
Anybody who can shoot needs to play in the NBA.
Traveling Urquidez in the chat writes, is it me or does Krueg remind you of a mad third base coach? I actually think that's kind of a compliment. I like that. And then hold on, there was something else here. And Chaos Theory 1983 wrote way at the beginning of the show that you thought this Warriors team was going nowhere. I know you talked about that a little bit because last week you said you didn't think the team would win more than 40. Any revisions?
I picked 38. I picked 38 wins. And I
what
would
is it now?
say
Is it still 38?
No, they look better. I mean, they look better. But I still think overall, you're talking about Steph is older, Draymond's older. So this was one game, and Lindy Waters had to have 21 to win at home. So I don't know. I mean, I would say they're like a 40, maybe 42 wins, something like that. Maybe I said 38. That might have been hyper negative. It might be closer to 42. I think the Vegas over under of 43 and a half is absolutely on it. I think that's
crazy,
right on,
right? Because I don't think people were saying that a couple months ago. People thought that was low because the Warriors finished last year with 46 wins, 44 2 years ago. People thought 43 and a half was really low, but you're right. You now see the genius behind that number. Like they might end up right around there, right? Maybe get 44, 43. I still think they can push 50, though. I still think they can push 50 wins. It's still early for me to give.
I think they can win 52 if they not 52, but 50 as well. If they make
exactly 52,
good trade.
That's my good trade. Exactly, not 51, not 53.
I think they give 52. No, but I do think if they make one good trade. If they could turn Wiggins and, maybe one other part, maybe a Looney into a little bit more of a significant big man, they're still kind of a donut team. Like they look good tonight, but they still got out rebounded and they still got worked points in the paint. And it's like they could use a little bit more inside than what they have right now.
The Wiggins piece of this is interesting because
Here we go. I'm going to share. I can't do this. I can't share the screen, huh? Only you can share the screen.
No, you can, can't you?
Let me see.
If not, just put the link for it in the private chat.
Yeah, I can. Here we go. Watch this. WNBA will lose $40 million this season, and its NBA investors are growing impatient. And here's a story in the New York Post. $40 million.
Damn, that's a lot of money.
There you go.
That's a lot of money.
I don't want people to think that I'm just making S up over here. I don't make S up. So there you go.
Yeah, you do. You hate the ladies.
Yes, I do.
I
hate these women.
You're just a big
I interviewed
fat liar.
David Stern years ago. One of my favorite interviews that I've ever done. I interviewed David Stern. I asked
That's
him,
incredible.
I said, David Stern, you've been the commissioner. You've obviously done incredible things. This was after he had been commissioner for 25 years. And Ray Ritter got it for me. And he's like, you want David Stern? I'm like, what? Yeah, I want David Stern. And so I said, what's your greatest accomplishment of your entire tenure? And he's like, that's an excellent question. And then he said, I think it would have to be the creation of the WNBA. Because with that, we opened up the dream of a pro basketball career to half the planet, which is really very, very powerful. So, yeah. But the only thing is, it only really kind of has, I don't know. To me, it's like how successful is the kid living in his rich parents' basement? I mean, maybe he's got a great thing going. He's got a great YouTube channel, but he's still living in his rich parents' basement. The WNBA is no different than that kid living in their rich parents' basement. You know what I mean? It's like,
no, I do.
They've done some good things, and you know what? There's some people that are excited about it this year, and they got a nice little deal with ESPN. ESPN's a real powerful entity, but they've lost $40 million, and they're still, you know what I'm saying? They're still hemorrhaging. They're not on their own. They're still maxing out mom and dad's credit card. You see what I'm saying?
Which is weird because Ray 1953 is also right that attendance is up, ratings are up. So the fact that they're still losing money is kind of wild. It does make me wonder where it's going. I'll say this about the WNBA. for the first time in my life, I watched the WNBA finals this year, and it was voluntary. It wasn't like I had to do it. It wasn't like I had a girlfriend who was into it and I just wrote. I actually just voluntarily watched the WNBA finals. I was entertained, and I never thought I'd say that. And here I am saying that I actually do at least casually watch the WNBA. But at the same time, I mean, look, man, facts are facts. If they're losing that much money, they've got a ways to go. There's no doubt about that.
My only criticism of the basketball is there's an awful lot of people falling on the ground. Like there's a lot of people on the ground.
Like flopping, you mean? What do you mean?
No, just the girls just go to the ground a lot. You know, they have a hard time keeping their feet. I mean, I watch the games. People fall down a ton in these WNBA games.
Like flopping, or because they're just weak?
Not flopping, falling down, like
That's
driving and falling down, moving sideways and falling down, playing defense and falling down.
That's weird.
I watched the WNBA game 7 of the finals, and there was like 3 sequences where like 3 people on one sequence fell to the ground. 3 sequences. I only was watching it for like a half.
Bruce Morrow.
That's a lot of falling to the ground.
Bruce Morrow, are you saying not true to the falling on the ground or not true to the losing money? Because Larry just showed a link. Bruce Morrow is a regular who loves the WNBA, so
okay, God.
he doesn't like hearing something. Yeah, there's something here he doesn't like hearing, and he
doesn't like hearing that the WNBA. Well, there it is. I mean, here's the article.
That they're losing money. Yeah, no, you showed it. It's we don't have to beat a dead horse. We get it. Hopefully the league will start thriving.
The WNBA is getting sellout crowds for the finals between the New York Liberty and the Minnesota Lynx. The league's owners will not be making a return on their investment for the foreseeable future. The NBA owns nearly 60% of the WNBA. When one combines the NBA owners' personal stakes in WNBA teams and the WNBA itself, the amount rises to 75%. And the NBA team owners have invested hundreds of millions of dollars in the WNBA since its formation in 1996. The WNBA owes the NBA so much we won't see any windfall for years, an NBA team executive told the New York Post. This season, the WNBA will lose $40 million. They forecasted themselves to lose $50 million. So they're $10 million better than they thought they would be. Starting in the 2026 season, the WNBA will get up to $2.2 billion over 11 years as part of their new basketball media contract. So their future. I'm not saying that their future is not bright. Their future very well could be bright. But right now, they're hemorrhaging. It says that means likely at least $100 million annual increase from what the WNBA currently makes from national media contracts, which is around $60 million.
That makes the complaints kind of meritless then, right? Because you hear a lot of complaints from that the WNBA players aren't making enough money, but you also have to be realistic about things. If the league is not generating revenue, I mean, where do you expect that money to come from? Like it won't be produced from thin air. So and to push back a little bit on what someone here wrote, MDAA, why would I not want to see the best basketball? Why watch a lesser version? It doesn't have to be either or. It's not like you're forced to just watch one or the other. I watch women's tennis, and even though guaranteed the best women's tennis player in the world would get her ass kicked by the 100th best men's player, it doesn't stop me from watching it. I don't not watch women's soccer, even though the women's soccer team will get their ass kicked by the men's team. It's just all about to each their own, man. It's just everyone has their own prerogative, and some people like seeing things, and why judge it? I'm not going to judge.
Nobody's judging anything. They have 1.34 million people watch Game 2 of the finals. Last season, the WNBA finals averaged a little bit more than 12 million viewers a game. Clearly, there's some audience for it in America. Good for them.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah.
I just don't.
But the money thing is,
once again, they exist at a loss, and the NBA is allowing it. And there are owners. He says there's a bunch of owners who see James Dolan as their hero for pressing Adam Silver on these questions, but Silver is not giving us any answers. They're mad. Says some NBA owners want more transparency from Adam Silver about when they will get some financial return on the suddenly popular WNBA. James Dolan has been pushing Silver behind the scenes for kind of concrete data on when they're going to get money back and it doesn't sound like it's going to come anytime soon.
Larry, going back to the Warriors, as bizarre as this is, I love the move. This first started back in 2020 during the pandemic to save travel, where you saw back-to-backs, which is a necessity in the NBA because of the schedule, trying to fit the 82 games. The owners would never in a million years reduce the schedule because that means lost revenue. So that's an idea that, even though it makes sense, don't expect it, because again, the owners will never make decisions that cost them money. What I'm leading to here is that the Warriors and the Pelicans are playing again tomorrow. But I love the format. I love the format because neither team has an advantage. It drives me insane. Like, for example, when the Clippers beat the Warriors 2 nights ago, they were playing the second of a back-to-back. They had just played the Nuggets the day before, which makes their win all that more impressive. But with that said, you see a lot of these competitive disadvantages with these back-to-backs when one of the teams is playing the second of a back-to-back and the other team is not, right? That's a clear advantage for one of the two teams. So I like this format where the same two teams are playing 2 nights in a row, because as tired as the Warriors might be, so will the Pelicans. But I also think that the Pelicans will make some adjustments. How do you feel about the back-to-back schedule in this format? And what are you expecting for tomorrow night when they play the Pelicans again?
Well, I don't understand why they haven't done this for longer. I mean,
same.
Is it are you tied in with somehow with the airlines or something? I mean, what's going on? Do you enjoy sending every team to a different city 75 times a year? I mean, it's like, what the heck? Some of these teams, they play each other twice in 10 days, but it's like, it's like all this travel involved. Some of these NBA road trips too are crazy.
Insane.
Phoenix and Minnesota, and 2-gamer Phoenix to Minnesota and back. It's like, what? Why? What? I mean, how does that make sense? But yeah, I think it makes sense. I don't think it really matters, for the fans, because, are people really going? I mean, if you're a season ticket holder, you're still seeing the same number of games between the same number of teams. You're just seeing them in a different pattern, let's say. Right. I think it saves wear and tear on the players. It lessens travel. I mean, there's lots of good things about it.
Agreed.
It's a little funky because it seems kind of arbitrary. They don't do it like consistently. It's kind of like random, but I'd like to see more of it. I think it's something that they want to stay away from, but I think they should actually kind of lean into.
Yeah, wholeheartedly. Yeah, I'm with you on all that. Pinoy reformat thinks the advantage goes to the Warriors because they have momentum going into tomorrow's game. We shall see. I mean, the Pelicans look like they got roughed up. A few of their players seem to get injured in this game. So if that happened, advantage Warriors as well.
Bruce Morrow says, yes, the WNBA is losing money, but falling to the ground all the time is not true.
Yeah,
I only saw Game 7 of the finals, but people were going to the ground a lot in Game 7.
Well, it was Game 5 because it's a 5-game series. Who cares? It's semantics, I know. But yeah, again, if you saw it,
I saw it.
If you saw it.
Sorry, Bruce.
So Bruce is calling you a liar, basically. Larry, you're an effing liar. Shame on you.
Nobody fell down.
As you mentioned, Larry, the Warriors tonight had 34 assists.
Misogyny is what's holding the WNBA back. Okay, thank you.
Say again, what?
Bruce Morrow now basically saying, if we don't love the WNBA, we're not discerning customers. It's all misogyny.
Exactly. Yeah, we are. Anybody who hates the WNBA, you hate women.
Thanks for coming, Bruce.
It's a fact. You have to like the WNBA. Otherwise, you're a piece of shit misogynist.
Yeah.
It's science, Larry. It's basic logic and reasoning. I mean, I don't understand how you can miss that. So the Warriors were passing the ball tonight. Again, 34 assists, 23 for the Pelicans, only 7 turnovers, as you mentioned, a key stat in this game. They also forced 23 turnovers. Larry, the Warriors won the points in the paint battle the first 2 games of the season in their blowout victories. They got killed in points in the paint, thanks largely to Zubac against the Clippers.
By the way, I love Zubac.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's good. He's very good. And he showed the Warriors exactly that. And this is a stat I paid attention to a lot last year, was points in the paint, because the Warriors routinely, even though they led the NBA in rebounding which is an absurd stat. They were getting killed night after night with points in the paint. Tonight, they barely lost that edge, 52-46. The Pelicans won that, I'm guessing, largely because of Zion Williamson. Anything you're seeing there that bothers you, or do you like how the Warriors' paint presence is? Your thoughts on points in the paint when it comes to the Golden State Warriors?
Well, I mean, who do they have that can score down low? I mean, Green's a 3-point shooter now. He took 4 shots on the night. 3 of them were beyond the arc. So he doesn't shoot inside. Trace Jackson Davis is not going to shoot inside. He'll dunk. So, I mean, who shoots inside? Kuminga goes to the hole.
Well, Kuminga last year was one of the only guys that was keeping the Warriors in it with points in the paint. You're absolutely right. He's one of the main guys. Him and Wiggins, surprisingly. Wiggins is another one who gets a lot of points in the paint.
Yeah. When you have 6'8" guys that can put it on the deck and go to the front of the rim, you're going to be able to score points in the paint. So, I'd like to see Kuminga play a little bit more, to be honest. I mean, he played 28 minutes tonight, but I'd love to see him start. I'd love to see him be more of a focal point, as I've said.
Same.
But to me, it just seems like the rest, what he does, so it takes him a while to seem like before he gets in the flow of the season. But once he gets in the flow of the season, what he does are these incredibly explosive forays to the hoop, where he just cannot keep a man in front of him. He can just get to the rim seemingly at will. And that's why I want to see him I want to see the other guys play off of him, because not only what we saw last year was he's always been explosive to the rim, but last year we saw him be explosive to the rim. And when somebody did try to cut him off, he was making high percentage short passes to Trace Jackson Davis for dunks. And he's making the right basketball play while going what seems like at a crazy breakneck speed, attacking the rim. So that to me should be the focal point of their offense, is have Kuminga attack the rim, play off of him, and let him get all the way to the rim at times. And if they halt him, let him find somebody either on the perimeter for a wide open look, or, at the rim, setting up one of his teammates at the rim. So, I mean, I that's why I want to see Kuminga everything stem off of him, because I don't think you can stop. I don't think there's too many players in the league that can stop him when he puts 6'8" and all that athleticism and speed in motion going to the rim.
Yeah. And again, unless you have a guy like Yevis Missy, who's like 7 feet and his whole mantra is blocking shots, Kuminga will get his own when he attacks. And outside of that one block dunk early, he pretty much did. So I'm with you, man. And I've been saying this repeatedly. The thing with Kuminga that I just want to see is a genuine run, like a lot of time out there, so everyone can properly assess him, right? There's no way to truly assess a player if he's not playing. So I'm totally with you. I want to see him play some more. This is a tradition I've started, Larry. Dude, we've been going for like a while now here. Great show, brother. To wrap it up, every post game, I've been reading off the NBA scoreboard just to see what else is going around in the NBA. Unless there's anything else you want to touch on before we move on and wrap it up. Is there anything else Warriors wise?
No.
So going around the league tonight, the Denver Nuggets beat a feisty Brooklyn Nets team who's been competing, staying competitive in most of these games. They were expected to be an absolute dud of a team this year. Cam Thomas was expected to just, pour in empty points. He might be doing that. He's averaging over 30 points a game right now, but the Nets are being competitive. And the guy you and I both have talked about that could weirdly be a good fit for the Warriors, Ben Simmons, has been playing decent basketball. Didn't play tonight, but the Denver Nuggets beat the Brooklyn Nets in Brooklyn, 144-139. Nikola Jokic, listen to the stat line from Nikola Jokic. 29 points, 18 rebounds, 16 assists. Yes, that's a triple-double, folks. That's an incredible triple-double. Dennis Schroeder with 28 points, 14 assists for Brooklyn.
And not only that, look how many turnovers he had. How do you have 16 assists and 1 turnover?
Is that all he had?
1.
Unbelievable.
Not only that, they got 22 off the bench from Westbrook.
And that was an overtime. The Westbrook, by the way, I don't think he's going to help that team at all. What do you think?
Well, I don't know. I'm not really sure. I mean, he's still in great shape. If he wants to play team ball, he could.
He did good
fit
tonight.
in.
He did good
I think he could. He was another guy that I was kind of looking for maybe Golden State to go after. Because he's offense.
Russell Westbrook on the Warriors. I've not put much thought into that. That's interesting.
Yeah, I was thinking about that last year. I'll tell you, there's a lot of talk that the Nets are one of the teams that really wants Kuminga, and I don't know how they would get him.
You brought that up. I've never heard that. I heard the speculation that the 76ers have some interest, and that was reported by Jake Fisher. But the offer, it's like, who was the player that they were? I forgot who the player was that they would trade back, and it was somebody that was so irrelevant, inconsequential. Like the Warriors would hang up
Philly?
immediately. Well, the guy, I'd have to look at the rosters of the Sixers to answer who that other player was. No,
Wasn't it KJ Martin or something?
Yes. And KJ Martin is not a player the Warriors have interest in. He's not a game changer. If you're going to trade Kuminga,
They're not trading Kuminga for KJ Martin.
Hell no. Hell no.
What is?
I haven't.
Some of these ideas are just ridiculous.
They're absurd. Yeah, I've never heard of the Nets being interested in Kuminga. I know in the chat, Jonathan Brand mentions Speedy Claxton would not be the worst thing in the world. I think they could hold out and get much better.
Speedy Claxton. Speedy Claxton's been out of the league for years.
Who am I? Yeah, what's his first name?
Nick Claxton.
Nick. Speedy Claxton.
Speedy Claxton was a point guard.
That's right. Speedy Claxton.
I did one of the worst interviews. I did one of the worst interviews of all time with Speedy Claxton. He was like cooking eggs or something like that. I mean, the phone was a mile away from his face, and I mean, it was like Ray was like, "Hey man, I can get you Speedy Claxton." I'm like, "Great," and I was like, at the end of it, I was like, "Dude," he's like, "Sorry, Speedy wasn't that great." I'm like, "Yeah, Speedy wasn't that great."
Oh my god, that's funny. And so, what are your thoughts on the Denver Nuggets so far? They're not looking that good. Like the Denver Nuggets look like a team that I think the Warriors can handle. That's how much they've fallen, or maybe that's how much the Warriors have risen. I don't know, but I don't think things are looking good in Denver right now. That's me.
What don't you like them? And they picked up Dario Saric.
Exactly.
They've got Westbrook.
Exactly.
Julian Strother, the Gonzaga kid, can flat out shoot it.
But they don't have.
I mean, you still got you've got Murray and Jokic and Porter and Gordon. Aaron Gordon at 24. I kind of like Denver. I think Denver's still pretty damn good.
Not as good as they were. And again, they're 2-2 on the year for good reason. They lost to the Clippers as well, but they got their ass kicked at home by the Clippers. The Warriors at least kept that game close until the beginning to end. But I mean, the Nuggets might do something, but they're thin. I don't like their bench. They have very limited shooting, so they don't space the floor well. Nikola Jokic is publicly calling out his own team for not having shooting. I don't like Russell Westbrook on my team at all. At all. Like I don't think he brings much to the table outside of just a shitload of athleticism, but his shot just is not consistent. That's me, but that's just me. What do I know? Dallas Mavericks. This was the first game on TNT tonight, and this was a doozy. This was a repeat of the Western Conference Finals from earlier this year. And the Dallas Mavericks have the Minnesota Timberwolves number. They proved it tonight yet again. 120-114, the final in Minnesota. Kyrie Irving, 35 points. Anthony Edwards, I believe, hit 6 3-pointers in the opening quarter of this game, finished with 37 points, 6 rebounds. Not enough, though. What are you seeing from the stat sheet that sticks out to you, if anything?
Well, Clay only took 7 shots the entire game. He was 2 of 7, finished with 7 points in 30 minutes.
Okay.
That's kind of a weird.
That is weird.
That's kind of a weird box score from him. I also like I like Lively, the former Duke big man. He had 9 boards, 5 points in good. 27 minutes. He's one of my favorite guys. Yeah. I don't know what Dallas is going to be this year. That's going to be kind of interesting. Kyrie had 35 in that game.
Yeah.
Kyrie is still one of the best scorers in the league.
Yeah, and Klay Thompson, 7 field goal attempts, and all 7 were 3-point shots. He didn't put up 1 attempt inside the 3-point line. That's just a weird night from him. You're right.
That is odd. Naz Reid is always good. He had 14 and 9.
I like
He's always good. And Anthony Edwards, 37. 37, 6, and 3 for Ant, man. He's pretty damn good. Sometimes I wonder what the Warriors would have looked like if they could have gotten Anthony Edwards instead of James Wiseman. Oh, by the way, James Wiseman blew out the Achilles the other day. Did you see that? How sad is that?
He's some players, man. It's just not meant to be. It's looking that way for him too. But
what do you think of Minnesota? What do you think of Minnesota as if they don't get off to a great start? I mean, they're 2-2, but do you think they made that big deal to move out of Karl Anthony Towns for they brought in Randall,
which hurt both teams. I think both teams I think got weaker because of it. But sorry to interrupt. Go ahead. Yeah.
Right. No, I was just gonna say they brought in DiVincenzo and Randall. I'm just always thinking, where can the Warriors can a place surface that the Warriors can send Wiggins to? Because to me, Wiggins is blocking Moody and Kuminga from, I think Wiggins and maybe one other piece would be the move I would try to make if I were the Warriors. I think Wiggins is stale now. He needs to move somewhere else.
Yeah, but then you also have a lot of people who think that if he continues playing like this, he should just stay, right? I mean, it's a conundrum, Larry. It's a big pickle.
Well, I mean, look, if he doesn't play well, nobody's going to want him at his price tag. If he plays well, at least they have options. But I'm just saying, it just seems like, let's just say this. I would go to Wiggins if I was Kerr, and I'd say, hey, I need that rebounder that we had in the finals against the Celtics. If you can be that guy, let's go. If not, no problem. We'll try to move you on somewhere else. If I was Kerr, I would be very, very direct with him and just tell him exactly what I need from him. I need you to rebound. I got other guys who can shoot. Yeah. I got other guys who can drive. I got other guys who can do everything. I need you to rebound. You're 6'8". You're super athletic. You can rebound outside your body frame, away from your body. I need you to pursue loose balls in the middle of the floor when you're in there. Get to loose balls, and I need you to go to the glass. If you hustle and go to the glass and get up, pick up a bunch of steals and loose balls, you know what I mean? Because somebody's got to do that. And he's got the quickness and the length to do it.
You're right. I love your take of Moody and Kuminga just having to say F it and just put their head down and just be aggressive, be yourself. Remember that you're only 22 years old, meaning you have a physical advantage over a lot of other people. You have endless energy. Just go out there and play and hustle and be aggressive. I think everything else will take care of itself if they do that. Kuminga particularly, at least until tonight, has looked like he's just been in his head. I don't know if the contract extensions have played a part in that or the failed contract extension talks. I don't know if it's just a random thing. I don't know, but he doesn't look good. Tonight was the first night where I could say Jonathan Kuminga looked like a good player, like a player who belongs. So the first 3 games, he looked like shit. He did. I totally agree with you in terms of what their mentality is and it should be for success. Last game of the night, it was a short docket on the NBA schedule, largely because of all the national games. The Sacramento Kings, the Golden State Warriors' little brother, winning. They've had a mixed start to the season. They're now 2-2. They beat the Utah Jazz in Utah, 113-96. Domantas Sabonis, the top performer according to ESPN, with 28 points, 11 rebounds. Jordan Clarkson with 21 for Utah. Anything sticking out to you from that game?
Well, yeah, I mean, Sacramento, getting DeRozan. I mean, come on, DeRozan's going to be very, very good for them. I mean, there's no question. They didn't even get a big night from Malik Monk. He shot 2 of 11 off the bench. I mean, he really was ice cold. He almost shot him out of it. But bench 113-96, Utah right now is just awful.
They are.
I mean, Utah's got some good talent, and I'll tell you, the guy who I think was a terrific pickup is, and I wanted him badly for the Warriors. And I told you this a bunch of times, but I loved Filipowski, the Duke center in the draft. He had 12 points and 8 rebounds in 25 minutes tonight off the bench. Filipowski is an NBA player and he can score, and he's a good player. So I like him. And Markkanen, didn't have anything going in this game. He played 17 minutes. He might have gotten hurt because 7 points in 17 minutes. That's really shocking. So they're just a bad team. I don't think, here's another team. They don't understand how or when to use Colin Sexton. I mean, he played 18 minutes. He missed all 7 shots that he took.
Jesus, really?
Yeah. But he's got huge talent. I mean, Colin Sexton has huge talent.
Sexton, hold on, I gotta look that up myself. Colin Sexton
took 5 threes.
Holy, you're right. Yeah, 4 points total, all off free throws.
Yeah,
just an offer, just a big donut, and that's
he
where
didn't do anything else either. He only had 1 assist. He had 3 turnovers. So I mean, he didn't have a good night. He's a guy that has to be key for them if they're gonna. He's got to give them points, and they've got to get something. So Utah right now is a mess. I'd go.
Good.
If you're whoever Utah's playing, you may want to pick on Utah for the next couple of weeks.
Here's a difficult question, Larry. I don't know how to answer this. Maybe you can. Digital Drew writes, "Why am I up listening to you two? It's 11:34 p.m." I don't know either.
No, it's 1:34 p.m. He's in Chicago.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, I don't know why. Because we're charming sons of bitches that you love. I don't know what else to say, man. You want us in your living room, in your home, in your life. We kind of just get in your crawl space there, and just embed ourselves like
I think you're addicted to the blue light I have in the background.
Yeah, it could be that too. It could be the Warriors blue. It could be my shitty, crappy lighting and camera.
I'll go red on you right there. Look at that. Look at that.
So Larry,
Giants
Sunday.
orange. Giants orange.
Oh, well, there you go. All right. Well, Sunday
blue.
Again, pig in a pickle, right? We got
Kings.
a party.
Kings.
No, don't do that one. That reminds me of the Kings. Like that's if the Kings beat the Warriors and you lose a bet to your brother, that's when you use that light.
Let's see. There's other options too. I can go fancy.
Oh, Digital Drew adding it's his birthday. Oh, happy birthday, brother! Look at you. Look at you. I think what you're doing is solid. Then, man, you're celebrating your birthday. Oh,
do you know who Digital Drew is?
No, I have no clue. Who's that?
Digital Drew works in Chicago on the video game Mortal Kombat.
Really?
Yeah.
Like a developer? Like he does the
he's
coding?
like one of the guys. He's one of the main guys for Mortal Kombat.
That's incredible. That is absolutely incredible.
And a terrific guy.
Great game. I mean, I played that game 25, 30 years ago. Shit. I mean, that's still
Seriously,
going.
It's one for the ages.
Happy birthday.
Oh, wait, Matt.
Well, this one?
Oh, wait. No. Gosh, seriously. Come on.
Oh, Anthony Lamb, by the way. Did you hear this, Larry?
How
retired.
Dark is this coming?
Larry, Anthony Lamb has retired from the game of basketball. True story. I'm not making that up. Oh, and thank you to Jonathan Brand. Yeah, I agree. I mean, Larry and I go back, 30 years or something like that? It's a long run. 25 years. So happy birthday, Digital Drew. Good stuff.
People say I look devilish with the red going.
You devilish son of a bitch. Chris Mullen, no relation to Chris Mullen, saying the Warriors are 3-1. Give Kerr his credit. You got your credit, Kerr. Congrats. 3-1. That's a good start. Oh, we're in the club now. We need some music. Let me see if I can pull out some music here. Hold on. Our platform gives us this generic music that that is copyright free, that is part of the public domain. That's all I got.
I go lighter purple.
That's Valkyrie. That's Valkyrie purple.
You know what? I've been going this blue for the Warriors, but it's probably more this blue, huh?
No. That's King. That to me is Kings. That's Sac Kings to me, man. Where's the lighter blue?
Wait. That's purple.
Wait, that's Sacramento Kings. I'm sorry. Yes. What was the other one?
Warriors.
That could be Warriors.
So I've been going this, but that's more like Dodger blue.
I like that one better.
This better than this.
The audience should decide. The audience should be the one that decides.
I like the darker. Big Heck Fire Kyle Levy says, "What in the heck? Night at the Roxbury?"
Great movie and skit. I'm Saturday Night Live. Oh, Damian LaRoche, where's the ecstasy at? That's all we need, dude. We all touchy-feely, bro. I haven't done X in like decade. Fun drug. In a very long time. I think it was my 20s last time I did that stuff. Like also ended up like
Is this the StreamYard music?
Yeah, yeah.
Wait a second, you gotta
get
there's something else. Do you have like the ducks, something with the ducks?
Oh, yes.
Feeding the ducks or something like that. Yeah. Hey.
This one?
Hey, this is gonna be we got a 25 song stop set. Nothing but love. You're listening to Tulsa's #1 station.
You're in the dungeon. What is that?
You're in the dungeon.
No,
Frank does the dungeon. You can't.
No, but I mean, but wasn't his show like a music show? Like he was a DJ,
yeah, music
right?
and sports. Both.
Oh, and he did sports? So you're coming to the club and stick around for the sports?
I like this now. Oh, hell yeah.
Well, happy birthday, Drew. I hope you're doing something fun. Go to the strip club.
Maitland says, this is my jam, Larry. Yeah, there you go. Maitland.
Larry, who's paying your bills, man? One more time. Who's sponsoring you? Who's taking care of you?
Check out Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. We will be there on Sunday from noon to 6. Stop by and don't assassinate me. And have a beer, have some barbecue.
Where did that come from, dude?
There could be people out there who just, you know what? People out there want to take, maybe they didn't like my WNBA comments. Maybe that guy, maybe your WNBA guy shows up. All of a sudden, I got WNBA in my grill. I will have security. I will be packing heat. But join me. I'll be at Pig and a Pickle. I'm joking about the heat. I will not be packing heat, but we will have some barbecue. We will drink some beers, and it's going to be a great time. It's going to be a great time.
I love
Tony
it.
Vega, you guys rock. Love my Warriors, but Denver's another level, keeping it real. Thank you. Maitland, the new JFK.
What's up?
I'm just reading your
chat. Yeah. Nice knowing you, Larry. I'm gonna miss you. I'm gonna try to actually make Pig. What time Sunday should people come?
It's an open house, noon to 6.
Noon to 6.
Stop by, have some barbecue. Take some barbecue home. Have a couple beers. You know what they have in Corte Madera that you absolutely have to have?
Hippies.
The brisket chili, but also the potato chips. You have to get the potato chips. They're cooked in beef fat. They're amazing. Amazing.
That's their Sunday.
Best potato chip I've ever had by far.
And to the Golden Days audience, you might see me there, man. I'm not just saying that. I might actually make an appearance. So I love that you and Damon have competing events. Like if I'm Damon Bruce and I find out Larry Krueger is holding an event the same day and time I'm rescheduling. I'm rescheduling, but that's just me.
Go to the wood pit. He says, ditch Damon's meetup, people. There you go. Do you have that? There we go. And then the guy right beneath him. Don't assassinate Larry Krueger Day this Sunday.
Don't. Be nice to Larry.
Because you know what? You know what? Here's the thing. The Krueg show has 50,000 subs. We won't get to 100,000 without me. You know what I mean? If we're going to get to 100,000, I have to remain upright.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So don't assassinate Larry.
Right.
Don't assassinate me, please. If you
don't assassinate. Just don't assassinate.
I'm almost at 3,000. I'm getting there. I'm almost at 3,000, Larry. I'm coming up to you, man. I'm creeping up to you. I'm only 47,000 behind you, so I'm getting there. Little by little.
You sound like Shanahan the other day when he accused Grant of creeping up behind him in the locker room.
Yeah.
Because supposedly Grant was talking to Purdy, Kyle was talking to Purdy, and he noticed Grant there. And I said, Grant, was that story real? He's like, yeah, it was real. He said Kyle turned around and said, is that cool, Grant? Are you fine with that? And, because Grant had questioned him the week before. Oh, what a world we're in right now. It's unbelievable. It really is unbelievable.
See, Tony Vega, he's right. Be careful. Diddy could just show up. He could show up.
Baby oil. Diddy's got enough baby oil for a lifetime.
Isn't that weird, man? Or what's that baby oil?
Yeah. I think the answer would be yes, that is weird. Yes.
Oh,
I think most people would say yes. That is weird.
and I
Kinda
love
like
the
this
Jonathan
live stream.
Brand.
This live stream has been a little weird.
It has been. We're wrapping it
Has
up.
been.
And the Reese's popcorn, I sounds good. I might try that.
What? No.
Reese's popcorn.
No, I'm not doing that. Reese's popcorn.
I forgot to hit this. Damian LaRoche paid $2 for this. Steve Kerr is a 1-star psychic. Let's not doubt him. You might be right because no matter what he does, he wins. So you might be right. You might be right. I don't know.
Damien, I like that picture you have. I feel like maybe if you keep working at it, you'll be in tier 1 before long.
Look at Jonathan Brand. He's a noob.
This is my first time here, so I like the video.
Thank you. How about say
What video? What video? What video is he talking about?
I think us, referring to us, like the show.
Oh.
I think. I think. I don't know. All right, we're going to bed. I think.
I gotta crash, man. I gotta crash.
I am at least.
I'm doing this all again tomorrow.
Oh, I'm right back here, Larry. If you want to do it, I'm here again. If not, I totally understand.
Let me tease what I got coming up on the Krueg show. Actually,
Go for it.
we've gone this long. We might as well fucking
you're right.
tease. Here we go. And some people are like, "Hey, you know what? I really love your show, but I don't like your foul language." I'm like, you sound like my wife.
Do we
She doesn't
swear?
like.
I don't-
She doesn't like my foul language either. My dirty mouth. All right. Tomorrow is Wednesday, so tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. I'll wake up and Damon Bruce will be there.
Okay.
So that's tomorrow at 9 a.m.
It's not awkward because given you guys are having competing events, there's no
It's
awkwardness.
not awkward at all.
Okay.
Because I don't give a shit. And I'm confident that more people will come to my event than his.
I like the
just
confidence. I like it.
And also, Pig and a Pickle's not the biggest place, so if I get a feeling there'll be some people there. Let's just say that. I think we have a slightly larger channel, so I think we'll do better. We'll do all right. So tomorrow at 9 a.m., Damon will be there. What else tomorrow? Tomorrow at 5 o'clock, Guy Haberman is going to be by. Guy Haberman. And we'll do a little Niner talk live stream tomorrow at 5 o'clock on both of our channels. Tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, I'll be on KMBR for Niners Nightly. And Larry Beal. Larry Beal's going to be my guest. I'm looking forward to talking to Larry Beal. I haven't talked to him in a while.
Former
and then tomorrow
sports
night, that's right. Tomorrow night at 9 o'clock, I will go live with the great Paulie Mack. Paulie Mack. We go Wednesdays. Wednesdays with me and Paulie.
Paulie's coming on with me Saturday night for Warriors postgame. We're going to have a Saturday night live. I might light one up if they win.
Look at you.
Stay tuned.
Why not? Thursday is Halloween. Happy Halloween. I will not be dressing up for the 10th straight year.
Meaning, wait. Meaning before like 11 years ago, you dressed up?
No, I probably, it's more like 20, actually. I probably
Okay,
have dressed up about 20 years.
I haven't dressed up.
The last time I dressed up, I had a hard hat and a vest, and I was like a cow worker. You know what I mean? I've never been the guy who's going to put on a mask and makeup and that kind of stuff.
No.
No, there'll be none of that.
No.
I have to be able to take off my Halloween costume in like a second. You know what I mean? But anyway, Niners Nightly on Thursday. John Dickinson will be by, man that you disparaged earlier.
I did. In my defense, he disparaged me, so it was a shot fired back.
I mean, he was right about you. He was right about you.
I have nothing personal against him.
I'm just joking. At 9 o'clock, Dieter Kurtenbach will be by, another man that you have fought
we're cool
with in the
now.
past.
We're actually cool now.
Okay.
We ran into each other. Well, it's not like we were ever not cool. It's just we hosted a show together, Locked On Warriors, and then it just ended. He quit, and then we didn't talk again for like almost 3 years. And then I ran into him at Warriors Media Day, and it was all good. We were copacetic.
It was all love again.
Yeah.
So Dieter will be by Thursday night. Friday morning, Chase Sr. will be in the house.
Ooh,
Friday at 6 p.m. on Niners Nightly, Jesse Sapolu.
Former Niners guard,
Center.
then center.
Yes. Jesse Sapolu.
What's he up to?
Just saw him at the Niner Cowboy game. I said, Jess, we gotta wrap, man. We gotta get you back on the channel. He's like, let's do it. So he's coming on. We'll talk Golden Heart Fund. We'll talk O-line play. I love Jesse. Jesse's awesome. Jesse's good people.
Yes. Maybe
And
Krueg?
then
Like, is that
Saturday
online?
morning, I'm doing a live stream. I've invited Dave Lombardi. If Dave Lombardi shows up, that'd be great. If not, we'll go. Kev will be in the house. We'll do a little mailbag from 9 to 10. 10 a.m. We'll have 49er forecast on Saturday. And I'm really looking forward to that as well. So we got a lot going on. We got Ira Kaufman from Tampa to talk about the Buccaneers. He'll be joining me on Saturday. And then
Is that where the
Sunday,
Niners play next?
Niners have the bye, and we'll be at Pig and a Pickle from noon to 6 with all of you.
Following
there you
week, the
go.
Niners play the Bucks.
Yeah, week from Sunday, Niners Bucks.
That's gonna be a tough one, man. That's gonna be a good game. Tampa's one of those
Kevin
weird,
F.
like sneaky, unpredictable.
Oh no, but
teams.
Tampa's hurt now. Mike Evans is out. Godwin's out. They're not the same.
Oh, well, good.
So,
Okay,
Yeah, they're not the same. They're suddenly all banged up.
good.
Mitchell and Ness is missing coach on Saturday mornings. I am too, but you know what? Coach and I strained for a couple years. I don't
Who's
know. I
Coach?
think maybe I think Coach is a guy that I've been streaming with out of Maryland. A good guy. But you know, he wanted to work on some other stuff, and I think some of the people in my chat might have been working him a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But you know what?
Yeah.
We'll stream again. I really believe we'll stream again. I love the coach. He does great stuff. We had monster streams, some of the biggest streams I've had. So for that reason, I'm also disappointed. But you know what? It's all right. It had run its course, and maybe we'll get back together at some point.
Yeah.
But I wish him well. He's going to do like a film breakdown thing on Saturdays, and so good for him. And as I said, I wish him well. So that does it. That does it for tonight. It's time to bolt for the door.
Time to light them up if you got them. And just on the Golden Day side, again, we're back at this tomorrow night. Another post-game show. Again, it's Warriors and Pelicans. Let's hope for a similar outcome. And then the Warriors have a couple days off. I'm going to do a show later this week. I don't know if I'll have a guest. Mark Spears will hopefully join me next week of ESPN. But I'm going to have a show Thursday or Friday where I'm going to reveal through the first 4 or 5 games. It'll be 5. It'll be the first 5 games of the season, all of the defensive leaders for the Warriors through 5 games, because there's only one stat that accurately reflects an individual's defense at the NBA, and that stat is a pain in the ass to collect and gather. The NBA does not make it easy. So I will do the research. I'll put it all together, and there'll be one episode Thursday or Friday dedicated to who is playing good defense and who is not playing good defense for the Golden State Warriors. And then Saturday night, Paul McCaffrey will join me for a Saturday night live episode immediately following the Warriors and the Rockets, who I can't tell if they're a damn good team or if they have too many players. They haven't figured it out, but that should be a good game. And that's a game the Warriors need to win. Larry, always love doing this with you, brother.
That's my man, Sengun. Alperen
Yes.
Sengun.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks.
There you go. I started this show with I Told You So on Buddy Hield, and then I'm going to finish with I Told You So on Alperen Sengun. That's a great name. That is an all-timer. Alperen Sengun. That's a great name. It's a great name.
2 hours, and we still got a crowd, Larry. Thank you, everyone. Sincerely, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you. Larry, thank you. We good? We done?
We're good.
Bye-bye.